Beth, what's up?
Hey.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. This is exciting. My first podcast.
The very first one ever?
That's right.
Wow. I'm glad to be the one to do it for you.
Yeah.
I feel like you should have a podcast with what you have going on.
You think so?
Yeah, I definitely think so.
Arkansas hiking podcast or something?
Yeah. You need something to you got what you got going, right? You got the blog and stuff, but
Do you have the blog?
yeah, let's jump into it. So, why don't you just tell us what you do? Why don't you just give us the rundown?
Okay, well, I am an avid hiker, Arkansas native, and landscape photographer, and try to get out as often as I can. It's kind of just my side gig at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, landscape photography is not very lucrative, but it's a lot of fun, and I really like to just be outside. I've been hiking since I was a little kid and have always kind of been an artist. But instead of painting now, I like to photograph. And so it's a great way to kind of be able to combine several of my passions at once.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's a good hobby, and it allows me to kind of do what I want to do in a solitary way or hang out with other people. I've met some great other photographers through Facebook and Facebook groups and stuff. So it's been fun. And I enjoy it. It's good. What else do you want to know?
Well, how did it, obviously you've been doing hiking for a while, right? And I'm assuming photography as well.
Right.
Sorry. How did you kind of put them together and kind of get the ball rolling? What struck the lightning there?
Well, I guess, so I've always been kind of outdoorsy, and my family's pretty outdoorsy. We always did road trips or like camping trips as our family vacations. And my mom was a photography teacher at Fayetteville High School. It's where I'm from, Fayetteville. So I guess I came by naturally. But I had a little Canon point and shoot camera in high school that I loved, and kind of learned a lot through that. And then once I was an adult after college, I was on Facebook and had joined a bunch of hiking groups and saw so many like beautiful waterfall pictures where they've got that like silky effect where it looks all like ethereal, and I was like, how do I do that? I really want to figure out how to do that. And so I just started reading tutorials and bought my first starter DSLR and went out and did it, and like just hit the trail and started doing it with some like very basic equipment. And that was like 2 years ago. So I've really like learned a lot since then. I feel like I've improved a lot and gotten a new camera. I've gotten all new gear since then. But just even with the basic stuff, like a $400 kit, seeing what I could do with that was really encouraging. And I mean, even if I wasn't getting good shots, it was just enough to like be out there and be able to see it and be able to go hike. And it's allowed me to go out and see a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't get to see, which is cool. And I don't think Arkansas necessarily has a reputation for being one of the most gorgeous states or anything. So it's nice to be able to, kind of show off some of the stuff that is good about Arkansas. So
yeah.
That's nice.
For sure.
As an Arkansas native, I definitely have conflicting feelings about the state. And as a transplant in Central Arkansas, we were talking before the show started about, Little Rock has its kind of ups and downs, its pros and cons. But there's some really good things about the state, and even some of its like more rural or out of the way places have some cool things to offer.
Yeah. What kind of places do you look for when you are figuring out where you want to go and what you want to photograph?
Well, I really like waterfalls. That's kind of what got me started. So anywhere in the Ozarks, basically, so north of here. But I figured out that I hadn't been to like almost all of Arkansas state parks. There's like 4 or 5 I'd been to several times, and I hadn't visited so many others. So I think just this last fall, I decided I was going to try to start a project where I visit all of them. I don't know how long that's going to take. But I started at Cane Creek State Park, which is outside of Pine Bluff. I was like, let me just pick one that's like so random, not anywhere that I'd normally pick. Like, let's go down to Pine Bluff. So that's what I did, and it's really cool. There's something really nice about like the cypress trees. It's really like bayou-y down there, and there's it's super different from the mountains of Ozark or the Ozark area, but It is cool. So I was trying to get out of my comfort zone of the Ozark Mountains, and I'm trying to get out there to the southeast area or southwest area and see some more of the bayou-y stuff, because it has its own kind of charm.
Yeah, the farmlands.
Yeah.
The places where
stuff.
waterfalls can't exist.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I kind of like the swamp. The swamp is like eerie and kind of creepy and mysterious, but beautiful in its own way. So.
Yeah. I think there's one of the governing bodies over the state parks has something you can get where I think if you visit each one of them or something. Yeah, see if you can help me out here. Something about all the Arkansas state parks, and like it's like some kind of
like a merit badge or something.
Basically, it's like a checklist, and you have to get it. You have to go to each one of them, and then like at the end, I can't remember. It's like a coin or some kind of something that, like.
I'll have to look into that.
I knew this girl who that was her life's dream, was to visit them all, and she was telling me something about it, and I was like, okay, but I can't remember all the details now. It's been too long.
Yeah, I don't know a good way to Google that.
Do Arkansas State Park checklist. See what comes up on that, because there's definitely something. I'm trying to remember now, and I can't even remember which body is the one. Click on that. Click on list of parks. Maybe there's something we can find in there. Can you drink Arkansas and Arkansas State Parks? Of course, that's one of the questions that comes up.
I'm sure that's a frequently asked question.
Yeah.
But the state parks do have a program, at least that I know of, because I was a part of it this past year, their Arkansas Ambassador program, where they have folks who are active on social media in different areas like hiking or mountain biking or kayaking or rock climbing. And their work is showcased by the Arkansas State Parks, and you get perks. And one of the perks I got last year was a free weekend at Mount Magazine at the lodge, which was really cool.
Nice.
I don't know if you've ever been up there, but Arkansas's tallest point, which is not saying much, but it's really cool. It's really pretty.
Mount Magazine. Where's that at?
That is south of Ozark. It's outside of Paris, Arkansas, actually, which has a mini Eiffel Tower there. It's very romantic.
Does it really?
It does.
You know, I've been to Paris, Arkansas one time.
For what reason?
Back when I was, I was still in high school. Lucero was playing a show there.
Wow, in Paris?
In Paris.
Wow.
It was a very small show.
At what venue?
I think it was at one of their local parks. It was outside.
Neat. That's kind of cool.
And it was, I had never been to Paris, Arkansas. I was like, oh, this is why I've never been to Paris, Arkansas.
Not surprised.
Once I got there. And yeah, just saw that show and couldn't buy beer because I was too young. I'm very bummed about it.
Yeah, that kind of would take all the fun out of it.
But it was a good time. It was a good time. And that's the only time I've ever been there.
Well, Mount Magazine is gorgeous. And actually, not to totally change the subject, but when I was up there, I took my boyfriend, and he proposed while we were up there. So it was a fun, free weekend up at the lodge that ended up being paid for by the state park. Thank you, Arkansas State Parks.
By the way.
Thank you very much. But the food up there is not very good, and they have you held captive up at the lodge. There's nowhere to eat. You're up on this mountain. The food at the lodge is pretty subpar. So we were like, well, we just got engaged. We want to eat something good. Where do we go? You have to drive at least an hour to go anywhere. And I mean, even in Paris, Arkansas, what is there to eat? We went to Dee's Drive-In in Coal Hill, Arkansas, and Coal Hill is home of the Wampus Cats.
Oh.
I don't know if you knew about the Wampus Cats, but that was fun. Little hole-in-the-wall drive-in in Coal Hill, which is outside of Ozark, and we drove an hour and a half away from Mount Magazine just to have cheeseburgers and vanilla malts, but it was good.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a good way to cap off the evening.
Cheeseburgers and vanilla malts are always a good go-to, to be honest with you.
That is my go-to.
Yeah. You can't go wrong there.
No.
And if you have gone wrong, you're at the wrong spot.
Exactly. I know. Yeah, apparently Sonic stopped carrying malt powder, so no more vanilla malts from Sonic. I was very disappointed to hear that, yeah.
I did not know that.
That's a travesty.
How do you have a shake joint without malt? It doesn't make sense to me.
That's basically what I asked.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I feel like they're making
up.
a big mistake.
I agree. I'm glad you looked up the Wampus Cat because I'm also curious about the Wampus Cat.
Oh, wait, the Wampus Cat's a real thing?
Apparently so.
What did that... Wait, go back. What did that say about what was the definition of a Wampus Cat? Creature in American folklore that varies widely in appearance. That, first of all, that right there says a lot about the Wampus Cat. He just looks different every time you see him.
Yeah. I guess so.
Ranging from frightful to comical, depending on the region.
I think in Coal Hill he's more comical.
Interesting. Now I need some more on some Wampus Cats at this point. What? Frightful to comical?
Yeah, what do we got?
These are just cougars.
Yeah, these are mountain lions.
This is not... Is that...
Although it could be, one of those Ozark colloquial terms for a cougar. It wouldn't surprise me.
That would make sense.
There we go.
What is that one with the 6 legs, or 4 legs and 2 arms? Never seen a cat with arms. Isn't Conway's school mascot a Wampus Cat?
It might be. I think there's multiple Wampus Cats in Arkansas.
Yeah. I think so.
Why, I don't know.
Go back. See if you can find like an article on a Wampus Cat. See if we can get... this is not completing the story for me. Story of a Wampus Cat, Appalachian history. Here we go. AppalachianHistory.net. This seems legit.
In Missouri, they call it a gallywampus.
Oh, shit.
In Arkansas, it's the whistling wampus.
What the fuck are we...
Half dog, half cat creature that can run erect or on all fours.
Okay, this is getting strange. Feel like we're going down a weird path here. Cherokee folklore, which is filled with the tales of the spirits looking in the deep dark forests that surround the villages. Blah 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 blah. Zoom in a little bit. You got me squinting here. These little useless baby blue eyes aren't.
Here we go.
Okay.
Is that big enough for you?
Yeah, that's the joint. Evil demon, spirit of madness, terrorizing the village. Okay, this is the Cherokee something. Cherokee, what is that, folklore? Is this trying to tell me where the Wampus Cat came from?
I think so,
yeah,
I guess.
I think it's the history of the Wampus Cat.
Uwa? Is that how they're...
Ooh-ah.
I'm thinking it's Iwa.
Iwa? The war chiefs argued that Iwa could no longer feast on the dreams of the Cherokee children. Something must be done. Okay, now we're getting to it. Strongest brave would go alone. Going to fight the Wampus Cat. Okay, go down. Give me some more here.
Yeah, do we have a description of the Wampus Cat?
That's what I need.
I thought maybe one of its traits is that it has multiple, more legs than it should. Six plus legs, but I don't know if that's true or not.
This is just telling that the Indians, I guess, hunted the Wampus Cat, right?
Or it's an ancient Native American myth.
Yeah, Wampus Cat.
Conway High School.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought it was the Wampus Cat.
You're right.
I thought a Wampus Cat was just like a cougar. That's what, because I didn't know there was a story.
That's what that says. The Conway Wampus Cat's a fearsome creature described as a large sort of mountain lion with glowing eyes that stalks its prey at night.
That's what I thought. Oh, the Wampus Cat is known by 6 legs.
All right.
Interesting. Well, there you go.
Well, now we know.
Wampus Cat has 6 legs, apparently.
The things you can see out in the woods in Arkansas.
Did you see any Wampus Cats?
I have not seen a Wampus Cat. I have run into a bear, I've run into coyotes, but I've never run into a Wampus Cat.
Okay,
yet.
now I've got questions.
Okay.
Where did you find a bear? And tell me about this bear.
So the bear, this was in July a couple years ago. I was out at the Buffalo River, the western end of the Buffalo River, Lower Buffalo, out at Woolham. And that's the very end of the OHT, the Ozark Highlands Trail. And there's this cool feature on the Buffalo out there called the NARS, or the Narrows. But everybody calls it the NARS because we're in Arkansas.
Because we can't talk.
Because we can't talk. So to get there, you have to ford the Buffalo. So you have to get across the water, which in July it felt good, so it was fine. But then you end up in this field, and you kind of have to bushwhack your way up to this neat kind of rock thing. It's like this rock spine along the Buffalo. It's pretty cool. So I was trying to get up on top of that. I was all alone, of course. I do a lot of hiking alone, and after this, I shouldn't have told my mom about this story because she hasn't let me get away without giving it. She gives me a fresh thing of pepper spray every time I see her, and a little personal alarm. And I'm like, Mom, I don't know if that's gonna help with the bear, but So anyway, I turned the corner basically on this trail, and there's this bear, like a kind of an adolescent bear probably.
Black bear?
Yes, little black bear. Which luckily we don't have grizzlies here in Arkansas, but he was probably 500 feet away or something. And we just like froze and stared at each other, and he didn't know what to do, and I didn't know what to do. And I just immediately thought about like what I'd read, like what you're supposed to do when you see a bear, and you start making noise and start hollering and make yourself look bigger. And he just turned tail and ran away.
Wow.
Which it scared the fuck out of me. So
right.
Scared, but I was like, man, I've made it this far. I'm almost here. I've driven like 3 hours away from Little Rock. I'm getting to this place now. Like I have to. And so he ran the way that I was hiking to. So I was like, I'm gonna keep going. Just gonna keep going and make noise the whole way so he knows I'm here. And I didn't see him again. But
shit.
once I got up to where I was like gonna get up on this rocky area, it was like obvious he had been eating. There was like what was left of a bird that he'd been like tearing apart. I was like, cool, hungry bear. It's great.
Yeah, even better, right?
It's really cool.
Hungry bear, and you just disturbed his meal.
I know. So
now he's still hungry, and he's on the loose.
Ooh, yeah. So luckily I didn't encounter him again, but it's a fun story.
Wow.
Yeah. Make noise when you're out in the woods by yourself.
Yeah.
Make a lot of noise.
I feel like probably most bears, especially out there, their go-to would be to turn tail and run, unless it's that mama defending her cubs.
Right. You don't want to get
Luckily.
in between a mom and her babies.
Yeah.
And the only time I run into coyotes, it was me and a couple of friends, luckily, and one of my friends goes out all the time, and she's a gun person, so she has a gun, which is kind of comforting. I don't want one, but she can have one. But we were just hiking out. We were bushwhacking out to this waterfall and ran into like a little group of baby coyotes, like young, like pups. And the first thing I thought was like, oh shit, mom is around. Like, we need to get the fuck out of here. And my friend got her gun out and everything, but like they ran away and we never saw them again. And they just kind of disappeared. But like, yeah, I don't want to get in between a mama bear or coyote and her babies. That'd be a bad situation.
Were you more nervous about the coyotes or about the bear?
Probably about the bear, just because I was by myself.
Yeah.
And he was a lot bigger.
Also, that's.
If I really had to fight off like a couple little coyote pups, like I guess punch them all and get away. I don't know.
Yeah, in my brain, in my masculine, fucked up brain, I can take coyote.
Yeah.
I can take multiple coyotes.
Especially if they're little.
They're just small dogs.
But
right?
yeah, a big old bear, especially out in the middle of nowhere, like
Bear's
it
tough.
was. It's like,
I don't know if I could take a bear.
And they say like, with grizzlies, you're supposed to play dead. If a grizzly attacks you, you're supposed to act like you're dead, and eventually it'll leave you alone. But if a black bear attacks you, you're supposed to fight back, is what I've heard, because it's pretty rare for a black bear to attack you. But it means like they're super hungry or they're like desperate or something. So you need to fight them.
Black bear are also excellent climbers, right? Like you can't just climb a tree to get away from them. What was that story of the guy that played dead, or the guy who there was two guys that got attacked by a grizzly, and it ate one of them, and the other guy ran and climbed a tree.
I don't know.
Some story about this.
Did he get away?
I think it killed both of them, if I remember right. And it was a mama grizzly. Bear attack man survived. No, that's not it. That's not it. Anyway, that was somewhere out west.
There's so many of those
grizzlies. Yeah, I mean, I feel like most people aren't surviving a grizzly attack.
No, probably not.
What's the size of a black bear and what's the size of a grizzly bear? That's what.
Black bears are a lot smaller. So, I mean, in theory, I guess if adrenaline really kicked in, you could take one, but I wouldn't want to have to.
American black bear, 4.5 feet. Is that? That's length.
Ooh, that
so
picture is a big old boy.
length. But the mass of a male is going to be, what does it say, 130 to 660. That is a wide range. So, and then a female is 90 to 180.
That's that does say adult. So, even still, 130-pound bear. So a bear is essentially a dog, right? In the same family.
Right.
So a 130-pound dog.
Well, and that's like, I mean, that'd be like me taking, I mean, That's like similar to my weight. I mean, it'd be me taking on me, but
Yeah.
a lot scarier.
with razor sharp teeth.
Yeah, and claws.
Yeah. And your same mass, or more.
Or more, probably more.
Or up to 6 times your mass.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm glad we don't have grizzly bears here.
Yeah, grizzlies. Yeah. Oh shit. 600 pounds.
Yeah. Or females, 290 to 440.
Jesus.
No,
So
thank you.
really, black bear can get up to grizzly bear size, according to the internet, because it said black bear are up to 600 pounds as well.
Yeah.
Is that what that said? Yeah.
Wow.
So they can get there, but
We have a robust black bear population, but
grizzlies are longer, 6.5 feet compared to the 3-foot black bear. That's
it's good to know. Stats.
If,
Bear stats.
I wonder, does that mean length like their height? I'm always curious
I thought
about
that was from like
four-legged animals.
snout to tail or
So
something.
this one specifically has a height listed, and it says 3.3 feet. And
That's shoulder. That's got to be shoulder.
That's
yeah,
what it says.
adult.
Yeah,
at
adult at shoulder. Yeah, okay.
But this one didn't have a height. So
Yeah, I don't know if so surely, well, obviously 4.5 feet, they're not taller than a grizzly
No.
at the shoulder, so that's got to be overall length. That's got to be when they're standing up.
Yeah.
So that's kind of short. I didn't realize black bear were that short.
Yeah, they're not very big.
Was the guy that you saw, did he look like a big dog?
Maybe like mastiff or something size dog. Yeah, like a
Heavy set.
Newfoundland or something. Yeah, big old boy. But
Yeah.
yeah. I don't think I was paying that much attention to sizing him up. It's
you don't want to die.
No, just need to scare him off.
I'm going to get off topic here, but there's only one time that I've ever been afraid of a dog. And I was pretty young. I say pretty young. I was a young adult driving. I drove to this girl's house. We were going to hang out. And her parents, they had a little money. They had a nice house. Drove down their driveway. They're out in the middle of nowhere. And I get out of my car, and I go to walk up to their door. And around the corner of their house runs this Doberman. And these were not pets. This dog was not a pet. So I was like, okay, all right, I'm friendly. What's up? What's up, dog? Because I like
Yikes.
dogs. And I was okay. And I was walking towards him, like, hey, boy. And then all of a sudden, another one comes around. So then in my brain, I'm like, I can take one, but I can't take two.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in trouble. So I got back in my car and called her. And I think I'd be scareder with a bear. I think I'd be more apprehensive.
That sounds pretty scary too, but yeah, I just also the situation being out in the middle of the woods by myself. I mean,
Well, yeah, that's
it's
even worse,
a little
right?
scary. But you know, there's some risk to it, and that's kind of what makes it fun. There's part of what makes it fun. I'm not necessarily an adrenaline junkie at all. I don't love I'm someone that doesn't like roller coasters, but I'll go out in the woods and confront a bear. So I guess we all have our own things, but
That is a different risk, right?
but like last night, for instance. So yesterday I was actually out with my friend Brennan, the girl that totes a gun that I saw the coyotes with. And we were out at Haw Creek Falls, which is a little campground off of Highway 123, like north of Clarksville. And it actually might be decommissioned because the Park Service can't afford to keep it up. So, which kind of sucks. But anyway, we were out there last night. We were going to take some Star Trail pictures and ran into some backpackers that were coming into the campground off of the Ozark Highlands Trail. And we talked to them for a little bit, and after, they told us their knees were hurting, they were running out of food, and actually, could we get a ride with you guys back down to Russellville when you leave? And we were like, well, okay. But we were going to be hanging out for another 3 or 4 hours taking pictures and then leaving 8 or 9. So they just kind of went back over to their little campground, and we were like, you can come hang out with us if you want, but we didn't see them again until we were getting ready to leave. But that whole time we were Brennan and I were like, oh man, the more I think about this, the more I'm freaking out. I don't even know what their names are. I'm a little scared, but we when we were getting ready to leave, we said, "Hey guys, you still need a ride?" And they said, "Yeah." And we took them down to Russellville, and we did not get murdered. But we we were both like, "Oh shit!" It's, I don't know, picking up hitchhikers in the dark at a campground in the middle of nowhere is maybe not like what I recommend to everyone, but it worked out for us.
Oh, holy shit!
It felt like a good deed, and that that we were doing at the time. But then there was like 3 hours in between them asking us for a ride and then us actually getting ready to leave. And we were both joking, like, they should have just asked us right when we were getting ready to leave, because we've had too much time to freak out about what this could possibly be.
Yeah.
And I've listened to too many, like, true crime podcasts about, like, just because it's a couple, like, doesn't mean it's safe. Like, what if she's there to, like, help lure us into a false sense of security?
Right.
But, we did it and we didn't get murdered, so.
I didn't even think about... So, all the animal talk is where my brain first goes to.
People are way scarier. I'm way
scarier.
more scared of people out in the woods. And we were actually joking with these people. They were from San Francisco, and they actually were really nice young couple. But we were joking with them, like, actually, you guys are lucky to have run into us, because there's so many, like, weird meth heads and just scary people out here that you could have literally run into anyone. So it's like you guys got in the car with us, too. But
everybody's lucky in this situation.
Exactly. But even, like, on the drive back to Russellville, like, we saw some dude just, like, walking along the side of the road, and we were like, yep, like that guy. We wouldn't have picked him up, but they're out here. So, yeah, people are way scarier.
Jeez.
And it's more likely that, like, an accident or a person would kill you than, like, an animal out in the woods. So... yeah, so that's comforting.
Yeah, especially a backpacker, like someone who's just like, because they're just roaming anyway.
Right.
What's the chances that by the time they're found out?
Right. And there've been lots of murders on the Appalachian Trail. Like, that's one of those places that's known for, like, backpacker murders. So, it's scary stuff.
The Appalachian Trail terrifies me in general.
Me too. I love to be outside and I love to hike, but, like, I'm just not, like, a long distance backpacker.
Yeah. That's a whole nother undertaking, right?
It is. Yeah, and, like, these people that we saw yesterday, they were, like, didn't have a ride, didn't have a car, weren't sure that, like, where they were going, like, were asking us about, like, well, which town should we go to next? And I was like, I can't imagine starting a through hike, like, without knowing, like, where I was going to end or having, like, a ride at the end of it. But, like, cool, man.
Wow.
It's the way of the road, I guess. It's the way she goes.
I guess. I didn't realize that really that was still... I mean, I guess it makes sense if you're just floating with the wind. But I didn't realize people still did that.
I know. I don't think I could handle it, but...
That's a wild life.
Yeah.
It's a rough life.
I know.
I imagine.
Very different than living out here in the burbs.
Yeah.
Like the polar opposite, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of romanticize it a little bit, like, like being a train kid or something. Sounds cool. Probably not so cool in practice.
No. I think the idea gets romanticized because, right, like you're just going with the wind, and you go with the flow, and everything's chill, and you're laid back.
You have no responsibilities.
Right.
No job.
Everything's cool.
But
showering every day is cool.
Right. Well, having a sense of stability, at least for me, is cool. Like, I need to have a little money and, like, know where I'm going to be laying my head that night, and just those little creature comforts that I need.
Yeah.
Like
being able to feel your
having
belly.
A home. Yeah.
Yeah. Not getting stabbed. Those are all cool things.
Those are great things. Yeah. Have to have them.
Yeah. Yeah. Not so romantic getting stabbed, I feel like. Unless you're Romeo and Juliet, I guess.
Yeah, unless it's like a suicide murder pact or something. Like but that's a whole different thing.
It is. Yeah. And it's only romantic when you're young, right? Young and dumb.
Exactly.
Less when you're older.
You know
and
better.
You're like, you guys are silly. You guys are a bit ridiculous. So, which parks have been your favorite so far?
Well,
and I'm gonna be honest with you.
Okay.
I'm not up to date on my state parks.
I was about to say
you're gonna have to area me here.
Okay. All right. So, the Louisiana Purchase State Park was pretty cool, and it's southwest of here. It is outside of Clarendon, Arkansas, which is there's no reason you would need to know where that is.
No idea.
But if you like barbecue, you can tie in a nice little side trip to Craig's, which is in Devall's Bluff on the way.
Oh, shit. I do
you like
love
barbecue?
some fucking barbecue.
Have you heard of Craig's?
I haven't heard of Craig's.
Oh, it's amazing. It's a little shack in Devall's Bluff, Arkansas, not that far off I-40. Best little hole-in-the-wall barbecue place ever. It's real good. Get a pulled pork sandwich.
Ooh, that's my go-to.
Anyway, so it's really good. But like 45 minutes past there is Louisiana Purchase State Park, and it is super tiny. I didn't think I would be that impressed by it, but it's really neat. It goes through this really cool little cypress swamp, and there's a boardwalk that goes along it, so you don't have to get your feet wet. And it's pretty small. It's pretty short, but there's this marker there at the end of this boardwalk that is pretty neat. And it was just really cool to think about. That's the significance of that place is where, if I can get this right, when they were doing the surveying of the Louisiana Purchase, somebody started in Atlanta and somebody started way north of here, and that little place outside of Clarendon, Arkansas was where they met. And one of the markers was placed there, I guess, while they were surveying the land. But it is shady, and it would be hard to get through there, especially in the summer. It's super thick, super swampy. There's alligators there and stuff. It is gross. But just historically, I thought it was really neat. And even in the summertime, it was pretty quiet. There was nobody else there, which I was not surprised by. But that and barbecue sandwich was very satisfying. That was a good state park day.
Wait, you have a blog as well, right?
I do have a blog.
Do you have that state park in your blog?
I do have that state park in my blog.
See if you can pull that up. Let's we're gonna follow you down this trail. We're gonna see these parks while you tell us some stuff about them.
Great.
Ah, there it is, your website. Nice. That's a great website.
Thanks.
Did you do that?
I did.
Nice.
WordPress, baby.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's who we use, isn't it?
No, I think we use
folks.
No, Wix.
Oh yeah, we're
Wix.
Wix.
Nice.
We're not WordPress. We're Wix. I forgot.
Yeah, the blog's been on and off a little bit lately, but I'm trying to keep it up once a month as I can.
Side hustle, right?
Side hustle.
I get it. I'm about that life.
Yeah, absolutely. But yes, that was.
So the way it works, you go to these places, you go to these parks, you take your shots, and what you put these shots on your website, and you tell a little bit about the park, or how does that work?
Yes, and especially with some of the parks, I've gotten kind of into. I didn't realize how into this I would be, but a lot of them have some really interesting history, and I've gotten to do some nerdy research into Arkansas history, which I did not think would be an interest of mine, but somehow is.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things I did this past summer was go to the Tall Peak Fire Tower in the Ouachita Mountains, which is way southwest of here. It's outside of Mena, but down near Texarkana almost. But it's this old fire tower that the Civilian Conservation Corps built the 30s. It still stands on the top of this tower, or on top of this mountain in the Ouachitas, and I spent the night up there in a hammock in the summer, so I could take Milky Way pictures too. It was really, really cool.
Nice.
But just while I was writing the blog post about that, did a bunch of research into the Civilian Conservation Corps and fire towers in America, and was this is super interesting. So the blog kind of allows me to do research into lots of weird little side things that I wouldn't have found out about otherwise, which I love.
That's even cooler.
Yeah, I
little
like that.
rabbit holes you can just fall into.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes it that much better. Is our internet fucking up?
Yeah, it just doesn't want to load. I've tried clicking on it several times. It's just taking a second.
Our internet's terrible. I hope I'm not connected still.
Yeah, I was listening to a couple of your old episodes and noticed that was a theme across some of the episodes.
It is. So since then I have upgraded to the best internet that I can.
Great.
But our router and modem are still all the way on the other end of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And so
we do what we
it
can.
makes things so much more difficult.
I understand.
I've been contemplating a way to route and hardwire everything to try to make it a little better, but that's just so much more, little bits at a time.
I know.
Only so
we
much.
do what we can.
Yeah. Again, hobbies, right?
Yeah, exactly. Side hustles.
Yeah, side hustle. It's all about the side hustle.
That's right.
So yeah. So the blog. What kind of other history things have you come across? Wait, you got a shopping cart on there too? You sell your pictures?
I do.
Nice.
I mean, I try. I've sold a couple. I do have some prints for sale on my shop. But more of what I'm trying to get into as far as like if I were to be able to make some more money off of photography. I've had some photos published in Arkansas Life, and I was like, oh, that would be a great way to try to make some money off this, is just to have like publications pick it up and stuff.
Yeah.
Photo prints really aren't.
No.
There. Yeah. No. And several of my friends that are photographers, they, finance their hobby by shooting weddings and stuff. I'm just like, it's totally not my bag.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Too much stress. I'm not into that. And my day job is as an office manager in a law firm. So like, I like my quiet. I like orderliness. I don't think I could gel very well in a wedding situation.
Yeah.
As the photographer.
Bridezillas.
Yeah, that'd be hard. The mom more than anything.
Oh, God. It's too much, right?
I think so.
Weddings are fun if you don't have anything to do at a wedding.
Yes, if you just get to be the guest and get hammered,
yeah,
that's the best.
That's the jam.
That's the role you want.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be the best. That's every wedding I've ever been to. That's the part I play, and I'm really good at it.
Oh yeah,
really,
I thought you've
really
got it down to a science now.
Yeah, I'm pretty great at that part. Everything else seems like it's too much work.
Yeah,
especially for just like an event,
For just one day.
Yeah, man.
Your marriage is the rest of your life.
Sometimes.
Like it's supposed to be,
Rarely.
guess. I guess 50% of the time or more it's not. So
yeah.
I retract my statement.
Do you have you put a lot of planning into yours so far? How long has this engagement been now?
Since November, and we're getting married in September. So
nice.
It's like almost a year of planning, which is good. We're going to go as low key and as cheap as possible because we want to go on a dope ass honeymoon and then start our lives not in debt.
That's where if you're gonna spend money, that's where to do it, on your trip, right?
That's what I think.
Just on the two of you, because fuck everybody else.
I know.
I don't know why people do it.
I know. I don't either. I mean, if we had some relative that was going to come out of the woodwork and be like, here's all the money and, here's, do whatever you want to do and I'll pay for it. Be like, great, but that's just not a reality in my life. So, we're doing what we can. Yeah. That's fine. But I'd much rather go spend 2 weeks in Portugal than spend $80,000 on like a wedding and a ball gown and all that shit. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would like to, spend more time, more money on the experience of the honeymoon. I think that's like where my focus will be.
You guys have a plan on that yet?
I think we're going to go to Portugal. That's what we're talking about.
Really?
Yeah, Lisbon area for 2 weeks.
Nice.
Yeah.
My one of my best friends, he married a girl from Portugal. So he spent a lot of time over there, and he said it is great as long as you don't have to drive.
Oh, really? The driving there is nuts? We've been talking about renting a car, but we might not.
He said the roads are terrible.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
But I want to drink a lot of wine and eat a lot of tapas and hang out on some beaches.
Yeah, he said that's the if you're going to go, that's the thing to do. He said there are a lot of underground clubs that are the best.
Okay.
A lot of electronic music.
Okay.
But he said there's so much fun, and it's like a Vegas casino. You will completely lose track of time.
Whoa.
And they party till like 10 a.m.
Yeah, and they don't start partying until like 1 in the morning.
Yeah. So you come out, and then the sun's up, and you're like, what time is it? What day is it? Where am I at? So, but he said it's great.
All right, cool.
He said it's a lot of fun.
I might be into that.
And of course, their beaches are fantastic. So,
yeah, and the
so
seafood.
I hear.
That's what I'm looking forward to it. That's the plan anyway.
Yeah. That's the way to go. Yeah, the food will be fantastic for sure. I've been in Spain a little bit.
Oh really? What part of Spain?
In the Canary Islands, Las Palmas, Tenerife.
Ooh,
not for fun, for work.
Oh.
But I did get a little bit of free time, and it was pretty rad.
I would hope so. In Tenerife.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. There's in that area too, there's so much outdoorsy stuff. Like they got the volcanoes there, shit like that. It'd be pretty rad.
Yeah, we'd talked about going to like Iceland or something, because I mean, what a bucket list place to go, especially for outdoorsy stuff. But I was afraid I'd have FOMO and be like, we need to be out doing shit at every second of every day of our honeymoon. I'd like rather spend like definitely scheduling some time where we're just gonna lay around and drink wine and eat tapas and
some downtime,
take naps and skinny dip and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Really, like taking trips, the downtime is my favorite. Like you want to experience a place, sure, but I'm pretty lazy.
I'm pretty lazy.
I do a lot, but I got a lazy streak.
I have the opposite problem. I like to schedule in too much stuff, and so I've got to really try to like rein it in and try to make sure we schedule in lots of downtime.
Really?
Yeah. I really like to go. If I'm going, like want to do it, you know?
I mean, I guess. It makes sense. Like, because maybe you'll only be there once, right?
Right.
Who knows?
But I'm going to make myself be lazy.
Yeah.
I think that'd be good.
You should enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Yeah. Do you guys have a venue yet for your wedding? You gonna get married in
my parents' home.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, in their backyard. Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah, it's free. It's great.
Yeah. That's the way to go.
Yeah.
They live. They're up in the Fayetteville area,
in
right?
Fayetteville,
you're in that.
yes.
That's where you're from.
That's right.
So anywhere there is gonna be beautiful anyway.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a win-win there.
Yeah, so that's good.
And in the fall, Fayetteville, get out of here. Get out of town. Fayetteville in the fall, get out of here.
I hope so. I planned it for a weekend where there's not a Razorback football game, so, or at least not in town, so hopefully it won't be too insane. It's the weekend before Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue, so.
Okay, yeah.
Would not want to, the roar of the motorcycles maybe wouldn't be like the best ambient music for
you are a planner.
A low-key wedding, but
Smart.
yeah, sorry, I'm pretty type A.
Yeah, look at you.
You know.
That's that's smart. I'm a wing it guy, so yeah, you're way better off than me.
It takes all kinds.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know about that. Sometimes I think that it doesn't take all kinds. There's kinds that are just way better than others.
You might be right.
You got it. Louisiana Purchase State Park. Look at you, tiny park, tons of history.
Yeah.
So this is just the about to, right?
Yes.
Or the about of the park.
So I always include a little map, and then I always have my photos, and then kind of like a little history, a kind of a blurb about how the park started or the historical significance of the park, and then a few paragraphs about my experience there.
Is that that picture right there?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what most of the park looks like?
Yes, and we actually went in the summer when it was really dry, so it's a lot of that is usually covered in water.
Okay.
But it was really muddy.
Marshy, then.
Yes, muddy, swampy.
Interesting. And where's this at?
So this is the town technically is Blackton, Arkansas, but it's kind of southwest of Devall's Bluff, or southeast of Devall's Bluff. That's the marker.
Okay. That's the one where they met at?
Yes.
So the legend says?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, it's way out in the middle of nowhere, and it was really hot and pretty buggy, but it's pretty cool. Yeah.
That's in the summertime? All that overgrowth?
In the summertime. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I know. I was like, why did we do this in the summertime? But it was pretty cool, and it was neat that there was nobody out there. It's one of those parks that, there's so many of the Arkansas state parks that people just don't know about and don't go to. And this is one of them for sure.
Do you plan any of these trips around the time of year or around the weather?
Yes. This one was kind of just a spur of the moment because we wanted to go get barbecue. I was like, well, we should do this too.
When in Rome.
Exactly. We have to walk off the barbecue after we eat the barbecue. But yeah, I think a lot of it, especially in Arkansas, is you have to plan around the weather just because the summer is so brutal. I'm not going to be doing anything more than like walk along a boardwalk in the summertime because it'd just be too gross. We were sweaty and disgusting even after this.
Wow, that shot's rad.
Thanks.
And that's what it looks like for the most part.
Yes.
It's marshy.
Lots of algae. It's very wet. Lots of really neat little birds and stuff. Oh, here's my little blurb about Craig's. Look, you can see the sandwich if you scroll down. You can see I love Craig's barbecue. It's really good. They're not paying me or anything. It's just really good.
I'm excited to see this.
I got my dad. My dad's notoriously hard to buy for, and I got him bottles of Craig's barbecue sauce for Christmas this year.
God, that looks so great. You should also be a food photographer.
So yeah, now you have a reason to go to Devall's Bluff.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Actually, what am I doing tomorrow? I like barbecue a lot. Yeah, that's rad.
It's good.
That was so that's where would you rate that park in your top so far?
Well, I mean, for what it is, it's super small, and I mean, if you don't really care about history, you're probably just gonna be like underwhelmed.
What kind of area are we talking here?
Like, I mean, the area you can walk on, that you can actually visit, is just that it's maybe like 300 feet along the boardwalk. It's kind of just like a stop and see it and hang out for a minute and then go and eat your barbecue type of place. Which is kind of cool. There's Arkansas state parks of every size and for every type of person, which that's one of the few that's like actually really handicap accessible, which is good.
Yeah.
So it's hard to rate because it's kind of comparing apples to oranges. This is like a boardwalk in a swamp, which is super cool in its own way, but it's no like Devil's Den with like waterfalls and creeks and like overlooks and whatever. So, but I was pleasantly surprised. I can say that. Yeah. I went just being like, oh, this is one I'm just going to check off the list. And then when I went, I was like, this is actually really cool. And got some good pictures. So it was a win-win.
Are you, has there been several that you've been more surprised at how you experienced them?
Yeah, actually. Like the Pine Bluff one, Cane Creek State Park, that was the first one that I went to, and I was just like, I'm going to try to go to all of these. But I mean, Pine Bluff has a pretty bad rap, and I thought it'd probably be pretty ugly down there.
Sure.
And it's definitely different, but it's cool. I mean, you just kind of have to be able to open your mind a little bit and not get into such a rut of like anything south of Little Rock sucks. Like being from Fayetteville, I definitely, when I was getting ready to move to Little Rock, everyone was like, why the fuck are you moving to Little Rock? You're from Fayetteville. Like, oh, you're going to hate it. And it's definitely different, but it's just different. Doesn't mean it's worse. And there's plenty, like I've said, I feel like there's plenty of beauty in like swampy bayou weird stuff as there is in like, you know, the rolling hills of the Ozarks. So
yeah,
I've been pretty pleasantly surprised with the park so far. I still have more to visit in the eastern part of the state, which is, you know, the part that we all usually avoid, but I'm looking forward to it. And
you mean the cotton fields and the soybean fields they all look exactly the same.
Yes, and it's just flat and it's poor.
That you just drive by to get to Memphis.
Exactly, or to St. Louis or whatever. Yeah. So
yeah.
But there's a lot of little barbecue joints out there too. So I have more barbecue to eat too.
True. Right.
Yeah. Can always turn it into a barbecue trip. So.
Yeah. Can't go wrong there.
Mm-hmm.
That I tell everyone, because I'm, you know, I mean, I travel a lot, and a lot of people, especially outside of the country, have no idea where Arkansas is.
Right.
But if you say north of Louisiana, they're like, oh. But a lot of people that do know where it is, they're like, oh, yep, I've been through there, but I don't know, never stop.
Nope.
I'm like, yeah, you're not missing a whole lot. And then I tell them all, up there, that northwest, that's a pretty spot.
Yeah, the hitchhikers or the backpackers we saw yesterday, it was like, you're from San Francisco, what on earth brought you to the Ozark Highlands Trail in the middle of winter? They said they'd Googled good through hikes in winter, and that came up on Google, and so they chose it, like at random.
Interesting.
But I was just like, well, and they were asking, like, should we go to Little Rock? Where should we go in Arkansas while we're here? And it was easy to just say immediately, like, oh, so much of this is skippable, like, you should just do whatever. But the more I thought about it, I was like, you know, if you're from out of town, there might be some stuff you might get out of going to Little Rock. I don't know. It was harder to think of cool stuff in Little Rock than it was in Northwest Arkansas, but
sure.
To recommend them. But I mean, we're known as, like, we're in the flyover states. We're definitely shitted on by the rest of the country and not known for being, like, a really pretty, beautiful state, even though we're the natural state.
Also, it's poor.
And also, it's super poor. It's not very educated. Like, we're not very healthy. Like, there's a lot of shit going bad for us.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm still on the fence about whether, you know, we'll end up staying here forever or not. As a native, I definitely have conflicting feelings about, like, this is my home. I deserve to be able to stay here and believe whatever I want to believe. Like, maybe I don't reflect, like, the majority of the people that are here who are conservative and religious and whatever, and that's not me, but, like, I deserve to be here just as much as them. And my fiance is, like, the opposite. He's like, we need to get out. We need to go where more like-minded people are. Like, let's just let them have Arkansas. And I don't know, like, where I fall on that debate. Like, if we like, should fight and be like, you know, let's carve out a space for people like us in Arkansas. Or if it's like, let's just let them have it and go to Portland or whatever, like everybody else does.
Yeah. Well, that's a real fence to straddle, right? Because it's a lot easier just to get out.
Right. Go to Austin,
depending
or
on
wherever.
how you're looking at it.
Right.
If you can afford to get out, that's the thing with Arkansas. With it being so poor, it is a bit of a trap, because anywhere you go, obviously your expenses are going to be much higher.
Right.
But anywhere you go, also wages normally are much higher.
Right.
So there's
That's
that
nice.
balance there, which is also even more fuel to the fire to get out. But on the same scale, kind of like you were talking about, anyone who does flee, you're just one more soldier out of the fight, right?
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of people here that don't necessarily agree with the typical Arkansas agenda. I try not to get too political, just because
Right.
a lot of my alliances don't lie with the normal Arkansan route. But you know, I don't know. It is. I see what you're saying, though.
Yeah.
Finding that balance on that fence is tough.
It's tough. And to have any pride in feeling like a Southerner or whatever. It's like, oh, I'm a white Southerner. That's like shameful, kind of. Like, it's a hard space to exist in, I guess. It's like
On the same note, no matter where you go, that's what you're gonna be.
right.
Also,
So at least I fit in here in that way.
that is true.
But yeah, I don't know. I just got back, so in early December, I spent a week in Vancouver visiting one of my best friends who is a dual citizen. She has lived in Vancouver for the last, like, 4 or 5 years. And I helped her move up there, which was really fun. But then finally got to go visit recently when she's been settled in. And it was awesome to visit, and we got to do some great hiking too. But Vancouver was so insane because she has a really good job. She works in, like, harm reduction and works at, like, a women's shelter, but is, like, the director, but still lives in a house with 5 other roommates and can't afford to, like, have her own apartment.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to find housing there that, like, I mean, like, transient people are everywhere, and it's really, really rough. And, like, it made me definitely feel grateful for, like, damn, I pay $1,000 for my 2-bedroom house. Like,
Yeah.
like, Arkansas sucks in a lot of ways, but, like, you know, the housing situation's great. So
So my friend that I was talking about that married the girl from Portugal, he moved to Denver, man, maybe 6 years ago now, 5 years ago, something like that. And when he first moved there, he was living in a house with 5 other people because that's all you can afford.
yeah,
And that's a normal thing there.
right.
When he and this girl did get married and she came over, they just recently, within the past, like, year or so, maybe a year and a half, something, got a place of their own, but they are paying more for a 2-bedroom house that someone else rents the basement more than I'm paying for this house.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's pros and cons to both, I guess. I mean, like, fuck, if you live in Vancouver, I mean, like, you've got access to so many great, like, you've got fucking socialized healthcare. You've got access to amazing hiking within, like, 30 minutes. Like, you have amazing, like, cultural diversity there. But, I mean, at the same time, you can be a young professional and be making really good money and still have to live in a house with 5 other roommates.
Sure.
And her roommate situation was not good. Like, oh, this sucks.
I mean, when you get 5 people in one house,
It can't
is
ever be good. No.
5 people of the same family in a house is
right.
rarely a good situation, let alone strangers.
Exactly. Well, it's like, 2 of your roommates are a couple, and they're having fights, and one of your roommates is a 60-year-old man who's, like, the caretaker of the property, and he just chain smokes in his room all day, and I couldn't deal with that.
Yeah.
But
Imagine sharing a fridge with 5 people.
They had 2 fridges, which I thought was funny.
There you
You'd
go.
have to.
You have to. That's 5 fucking people, man.
I know. So, I mean, I guess you just decide like what you can live with and you just deal with it. But it's a work in progress.
I guess. You gotta find that balance. It's all about balance in the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, take what you get what you can. Fuck it.
That's right. Just try to make our way the best we can.
I always said if I was gonna leave here, I'd be in the Northwest.
Really?
Portland, Seattle, that area.
It's really beautiful up there.
It's my favorite. I love it. I was in Portland last time, 2000, I don't know, 13, I think, 14. And it was July, and they were having record high temperatures at like 70 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was freaking out because they couldn't buy a fan. All the fans were sold out. And I was like, you guys are bananas.
I know. I'm like, this is so pleasant for me.
We made a trip to the coast, and I was like, Arkansas is a pretty state. Oh, wait.
Never mind.
Hold on.
I know.
Let me change this.
Exactly. Yeah, when I was up in Vancouver, we took an overnight trip up to Pemberton, which is like north of Whistler, so kind of in like the skiing area north of Vancouver. But we hiked at Joffrey Lakes Provincial Park, which is, I guess, their equivalent of a state park. But you hike up, across, like, you go up and up and up to this, like, glacier, basically, is where you end your hike, and you go near, like, 3 different glacial lakes, like, ascending in altitude the whole way. And we got to go after, like, a fresh dusting of snow. It was so pretty. And she'd said that it was, like, the last time she'd been was in August, and it was, like, hiking in a single file line because there were so many people.
Jesus.
Because it's, like, 45 minutes from Vancouver, so it's, like, one of the spots that everybody goes to. But in December 5th or whenever it was dead. We saw, like, 2 or 3 other people. But, I mean, yeah, like, beautiful frozen glacial lakes and just, like, powdery snow and cascading waterfalls, and it was just, like, yeah, I mean, I could get used to this. It's pretty nice.
I don't know. That leads to another thing, though.
Yeah.
Like, those fucking winters, man. I don't know that I could handle that.
Vancouver's not so bad because they don't get a ton of snow. I think it's so coastal there that it's pretty temperate. But you go like 30 minutes north of the city and there's snow.
Yeah.
And honestly, I miss winter. Like, living in central Arkansas and with global warming and everything, it's like 65 degrees outside today, and it's really nice, but it's like, it's January, man. Like, it'd be nice to have like a little bit of snow or something. Like, I kind of miss having more of a winter experience.
Oof, man, I don't know.
Not like a brutal one. I see everyone shaking their heads over
know,
here, but
man.
like,
I don't know.
I'm from Pennsylvania, like I mentioned. So like 1 year, the snow would seriously reach like 4 feet. So I'm over it. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
No winter.
Totally get that. And I don't think I don't want to deal with like 6 months of winter or anything. I have several friends who lived in Chicago for a while, and like brutal, gray, windy, like just awful winters. So, like, that's not necessarily what I want, but
Yeah.
I don't know, like a dusting of snow would be nice.
See, I don't mind snow. I don't mind a little snow.
Yeah.
And that's really where we're at. That's one of the things, because we generally, this year's been super warm, but generally we'll get 1, maybe
Right.
2 a year. And then it's just ice, of course, which is shitty.
Oh yeah.
But we'll get 1 or 2, little spots, which is fine. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
I don't know that I could. I think I would hibernate if it.
Really?
I don't think I could go out in the cold. I'm very fortunate now. I have a garage, so my car will be pre-warmed. I'll go get in my car,
Oh my gosh.
and then I'll leave, and I'll go to where I'm going,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll have a short 30-second sprint into whatever building I'm in
Yeah, you got it made.
that's warm, and then I'll do my thing, and then I'll sprint back to my car, back to my warm house, and it's great, even when it's cold. And now, to me, it seems like the older I get, cold is not what it used to be. I'm like, it's like 50 degrees, and I'm like, this is not great.
Yeah, overrated. Cold's totally overrated for you, huh?
Yeah, this is not fun anymore.
Yeah, I get that. Totally get that.
I would I would rather the heat, to be honest with you.
See, I was just about to say, I would take I'd take months and months of winter over the summers that we have in Little Rock.
Really?
Yes, I fucking hate them. It's so humid. It's so hot. It's just like oppressive from like May until early October. Like, it's just awful for months.
I guess, though, really, now that I think about it, in the summertime, it's just exactly the opposite. My car is pre-cooled. And then I go to wherever I'm going, and it's a 30-second sprint in the heat to the cool building I go to. So I guess, yeah, that makes sense.
Thank God for the burbs and the garages.
Yeah. It makes a difference.
Absolutely.
It really does.
But, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's another pro for Arkansas. You can live in a place where you can afford a house with a garage.
I mean, that is
great.
true. For the same price that I would be sharing a basement with someone in a 2-bedroom house in Denver.
Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, my fiance talks about wanting to move to Denver. I'm like, with what money?
Yeah,
so
also
expensive.
The population explosion there. Like, good luck finding a place to work.
It's the new Portland. It's where everybody has been going the last few years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
At
tough.
least you can juggle on the square in Portland and make money.
You can busk.
People in Denver don't give a shit. They're just high. They don't give a shit about you skateboarding for life. They don't care. They don't care about your 2-tiered bicycle. They don't give a shit.
They don't.
No. They care about weed and they care about technology and the Rockies. That's it.
I care about maybe 2 out of 3 of those things. So, I mean, it might be nice to live there, but it'd be so expensive.
It would be. Yeah,
and
also,
there's just a lot of people. I feel like I've gotten really spoiled with the population of Arkansas. Like, hiking here, it's not like, the trips I've taken to, like, California or Colorado, like, the hikes that we've planned to do, it's like, well, we got to get up at 6 in the morning so we can make sure to get there early before the parking lot fills up.
Yeah.
That's not really a thing in Arkansas. Like, you can easily go into the woods and not see another person all day long. And that's really spoiled me, I feel like.
Also, recently, back in the fall, we were in Denver. And, like, New Year's night, we were like, I completely forgot it was New Year. I had just recently gotten home and was just being lazy. And then New Year's Day came, and we took the dogs for a walk. And I was like, what do you want to do for dinner tonight? And she was like, I don't know. And we were talking about it, and she was like, well, since it's New Year's, we could do this or this. And I was like, oh, fuck, yeah, it's New Year. So I was like, well, let's go out and have, enjoy New Year. I fucking forgot it was New Year.
Oh my God.
So we picked a place to eat. We went there. It was fucking packed. We were like, there's definitely no way we'll get a table here. So we went to the next place, and we were able to get a table because it's fucking Little Rock. And still had, a decent meal. But in Denver, we were there in just the fall, in just the middle of a normal time. And everywhere we went, no matter what time of day it was, we were waiting for a table.
Really? Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a lot.
It is.
Like, in your daily life, if anytime you want to, like, pop out and go out to eat or whatever, have to wait for a table.
Yeah. Yeah.
First world problems, I guess. But,
And at the same time, we're like, you got a bar? We can just sit at a bar? It's full. Because there's just so many people there. There's so many people.
Yeah, that gets old.
Yeah.
I mean, they all go there because it's so freaking great.
I mean, it is.
I guess.
It's a cool city.
Yeah.
It's a good time. You can have fun there.
Yeah, you can get high legally there.
You can. You can get high in a lot of places now.
You can get high in a lot of places, but
There's a lot of places you can legally get
that's
high.
true.
And I feel like we're headed in that direction. It's only going to be a matter of time before it's fucking... When did Prohibition end? In the 30s or 40s? And then now we're like, that was fucking stupid. And that's just how weed's going to be.
I hope so. I mean, we got medical already. Hopefully it's just a matter of time till we get the rest of it.
Here's the thing, right? So the amount of money that all of these cities are making that have made this legal and states are making
would make such a huge difference for Arkansas.
Why the fuck are we not all just doing it?
I don't understand. I mean, Arkansas is so backwards and so conservative that it doesn't really surprise me that we haven't totally just decriminalized it or legalized it across the board here just because people are so conservative or whatever. But there's a lot of money to be made, really. I mean, I don't understand why those people aren't jumping on the bandwagon.
Well, because they're not getting a cut of it yet.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of time. That's all it is.
So.
And I feel like that's nationwide. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of time because it's ridiculous the amount of money you can make.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been shown. It's
Right.
been proven.
I know.
Time and time again now.
It's crazy.
And I think it's gonna happen. I was tattooing actually recently, a superintendent of a local school. That
Really?
I'm not gonna say. And he was.
Don't out him.
No, definitely not. Very cool guy. Very nice guy.
I'm sure.
Conservative guy, which fine.
Was he getting a tramp stamp that said butt slut?
He
or...
was actually with a rose.
Ooh, classy.
So I was tattooing him, and we were just talking. He was telling me what he does and blah blah blah. And then somehow we got on that topic, and I was talking about how I don't know how people go into that field because it sounds terrible. You don't get paid enough, blah blah blah. Terrible job.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yeah, and it's just so hard to find people now. And he was telling school boards and stuff, like, forget it. You're not going to find a teacher nowadays that doesn't have tattoos. You're not going to find one that doesn't smoke weed. Whatever they do,
Right.
let them do it as long as they're not doing it here. And I'm like, that's the way to be, man.
That is totally how I feel.
That's it. That's the way to do it.
I mean, I working in a law office, which is my day job, like, I mean, what difference does it make to anybody else if I'm smoking weed or have tattoos or whatever? Like,
It doesn't.
if I can come in and do my job and do it well, then I don't understand what difference it makes. So.
Especially if you can get shithoused on this.
And legally, just right after work, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So there's no... It's just a matter of time.
I hope so. We could really make a lot of money, which hopefully would be really good for the state. We need the money.
Yeah. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And it may not be next year. It may not be 5 years from now, but it's going to happen.
Well, maybe at least they'll make medical cards easier to get, because right now it's like you have to have cancer or really have like an actual like medical problem to get a medical card, which makes sense. But I'd like to be able to go to my doctor and be like, I don't know, I have PTSD from anything. I don't know.
A bear attack.
Yeah, but literally a close encounter with a bear or coyotes or something, and be able to walk out with a weed prescription. Like, that would be great.
Well, I mean, you shouldn't even have to do that. It should be fucking legal.
I know, I agree.
Let's be real.
I know.
It's a fucking plant.
It's such a trip to go to Colorado or like in Vancouver recently, where it's just like you can just walk in and like, oh, hey ladies, like, what kind of eighth are you looking for today or whatever. Yeah, it's a trip, but it's great.
Yeah, walk out with it. You're eating it. It's fine.
No big deal.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't see how it's any different from alcohol. Or
It's
I
not.
mean, it's better. But
It's better for you, your body, and it's better for people driving on the road.
certainly,
So
you're preaching to the choir over
telling
here.
you, it's just a matter of time, man.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time.
So, what other public figures are you tattooing lately? Or scandalous folks?
No, not too many. Not too many. It's been the slower time of year, fairly recently. It's about to ramp up and
Tax
get
time.
bananas.
Yeah.
So I've been taking a lot of time off.
Good.
I'm telling you, I've been this lazy
Living that
streak.
lazy life.
It's
good.
been getting me. I've been enjoying it. I've been soaking it up while I can. I'm just trying to just doing more of this.
Yeah.
And try to get more shit going, you know?
Mm-hmm. Rejuvenate your creative juices.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah. Self-care.
Yeah. You burn too much of the candle and
That's
then you have no
exactly right.
candle.
Exactly.
But, yeah. But I was surprised, though, to go back to it, that superintendent of a school saying that. So that's what I mean also when I'm saying it's just a matter of time. Because if people like that are saying things like that,
Yeah,
I know...
He's in touch.
Yeah, he's not the only one. And he's not the only one that also can see how much better it is for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
On your adventures, have you come across any crazy like weed farms like you see in all the movies?
or more like probably like meth houses. Is
Yeah.
more what I would expect. But
Probably.
no, I mean, plenty of like kind of weird, sketchy folks out in the woods.
Sure. You would imagine, right?
Yeah, like you would imagine. I mean, and just like sometimes driving to some of these places to like get to trailheads or whatever, it's like, oh shit, like where are we? Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if I should like get a gun, like get a like, you know, take the whole class and do the whole gun thing, but like wasn't raised in a gun-toting family and like wasn't a hunter or anything, but fuck, it's scary out there. Like there are some really weird creepers out in the Ozark woods.
I mean, there is.
Yeah.
I do have my concealed carry, and I almost always have mine on me.
Really?
If I'm out and about. Little Rock's a rough place.
That's true. My friend Brennan has a woods gun and then she has a Little Rock gun, and it's like pink with like leopard print. I was like, cool, it's your city gun. Cool. Yeah. But luckily, I mean, knock on wood, I haven't had any like really bad experiences myself in Little Rock, but I've heard enough stories that, I mean, you got to be on your toes. Yeah.
Have you seen the HBO special?
Oh no, the Bangin' in the Rock special or whatever from the 90s. I've heard of it, but it's like there's a lot of it that centers around like MacArthur Park area, right? And that's literally where I used to live, where we were talking about this before the show, but a man literally was shot and killed by the police right outside of my house on 8th Street, which is like 2 streets over from MacArthur Park. Mm-hmm. But it was like a known place to like shoot up and have gay sex and gangbang and all that stuff. And that was just like 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's not, most of the areas they focused on aren't quite as bad now as they were then. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it was big enough that HBO picked it up and we're like, hey, let's focus on this.
Right.
People want to watch this.
I guess I need to watch it since I live there.
It's a rough spot, man. And really, honestly and truly, I think that is less dangerous than like what you do, going out in the middle of nowhere. How often do you have cell phone signal out there?
Oh, not very often. I'm looking into getting a GPS like whole deal, but they really, I mean, the GPS companies kind of rip you off because you have to like buy a yearly subscription, and I mean, you have to have the service, so it's like a monthly subscription or whatever. So it's expensive, but yeah, it's really scary being out there being like, oh, well, my phone doesn't work, and even if like no one attacks me, if I break my ankle, like I'm shit out of luck.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you come across the wrong thing, right? A fucking bear. Jesus Christ.
I mean, I try to be prepared, and I take my precautions, like tell people where I'm going to be and say, if you haven't heard from me by like this time, then you know where to go, and here's the nearest ranger station, so you'll know who to contact. But like, I mean, it's a calculated risk, and part of that is fun, and part of that's kind of exciting and kind of makes it a worthwhile pursuit. But at the same time, it's also really scary, and like, it's easy to be in my house and plan this trip and be like, this will be so much fun, and then be out in the woods by myself and be like, oh shit, now here I am. What's gonna happen next? Nothing, knock on wood, has really bad happened to me. But I know plenty of people who have gotten lost or have gotten injured, and they've just like had to get themselves out of it. So I hope that I would have the fortitude to be able to get myself out of any bad situation that I encounter if I'm alone, but I try not to be alone too much. After the bear situation, and I've had a couple other kind of like just, you know, scary moments out in the woods where I'm doing a bushwhack to try to get to like a specific waterfall, and I realized like, oh yeah, I'm really out here. Like there's no trail, and I'm on a ledge, and one wrong move and I could literally like break my leg or whatever. So I try not to put myself in those situations too much anymore. I'm trying to be more mindful about like, I should bring a buddy, or I should really buy that GPS thing or whatever. So, you know, I'm trying to not be an idiot about it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But
well, I mean, you're a smart girl. I feel like in most situations you can probably get yourself out of.
I hope so.
But yeah, and I mean,
there'd only be so much I could do if my leg was broken. But
flip side of the coin,
doesn't come to that.
You can't just be afraid of everything. No. You got to get out there.
Right.
And it seems worthwhile. Some of these shots you've got are pretty fucking phenomenal.
Thank you.
So what are your favorite waterfalls? Because those are your Those are your cake, right? That's your frosting.
That's the thing I really like. I like the ones that are harder to get to, like where you're not going to run into as many people.
Yeah.
I really like. Let's see. I'm trying to think of some just like off the top of my head, but I mean, there's several waterfalls in the state that like are the hot spots that everybody goes to because you can like drive right up to or whatever. But I like a challenge. I like to have to work to get to my waterfall or wherever I'm going. Hemden Hollow Falls is a pretty good example. It's on the Buffalo. It's on the upper Buffalo, kind of outside of Ponca. And a lot of people go by kayak, like they're floating the Buffalo, and you can access it just by like pulling your kayak over and walking over to the base of this waterfall.
Nice.
I have never approached it that way. I've only done the hike, and it's like a brutal, grueling, like straight up and down, insane hike. But like you never run into anybody that way, and if you go on like, you know, a rainy day or whatever, you're gonna get it all to yourself. And you were asking about like weather stuff earlier. Like as a photographer, I'm always thinking about the weather and like not only, you know, the lighting, what's the lighting going to be like, but
oh shit,
if it's shitty weather, I can probably get some really dramatic pictures and no one will be out. It's really hard to get pictures of places when there's people all over the place. So I'm always trying to look for, oh, it's a freezing day and it's drizzling. Like, perfect. I'm going to go. I'm going to go and see what I can get.
Yeah, you can't tell temperature in a picture, right?
Exactly.
Not well, anyway.
No. And sometimes it's fucking awful and super brutal. But it's worth it, usually.
I imagine you kind of have to plan, especially waterfalls, too, around the weather, because you have to have some kind of water movement to get a waterfall.
Usually you have to have rain within the last couple of days. And in the summer, we just basically don't have any waterfalls. It's just so dry and hot and awful. But basically from like October through May is the prime time season for waterfalls. And working a Monday through Friday, like 9 to 5 office job kind of sucks sometimes because I can't just at the drop of a hat be like, oh, it's raining, I got to go.
Yeah.
But I try to get out when I can. And yeah, you gotta watch for cloudy days when it's rainy, or right after a rain. And cloudy days are the best for waterfall shots because of that diffused light. It's always what I'm looking for.
Interesting. Yeah. Natural diffuser.
That's right. That's right.
I'm so terrible with pictures in general. I'm a terrible photographer. I have to get her to help me out. She'll tell you.
Yeah, he's so bad at it. Like, he just doesn't understand that, like, no, you need, like, a light right here as well as right here. And even if you're going to put a light right here, it actually needs to be, like, this kind of light as opposed to, like, stark white.
It's not
or,
that
like...
it's not that I don't understand. It's just that I don't care. It's just that I don't care.
Yeah, and then when we go to take pictures together, it's really great because he just still doesn't understand. And I'm like, literally, like, we're two totally different colors happening here. Like, this is not.
You're lucky you have a model with you who can dictate these things.
I know, right?
I'm rolling my eyes right now.
She dictates a lot of things.
Well,
takes care of a lot of things. Don't know at this point how I would make it without a lot of the things that she does.
You wouldn't.
Yeah, probably not.
Period. Yeah. Conversation over.
Yeah, it's true. I'll admit that. It's a true thing. And now she's basically taken over production here, which is been.
It's definitely different, but like I'm always in front of the camera, and I'm always like I always have to be on, and it's kind of nice to be like back here, and I'm like, do I want to say anything? Nah, I'm just gonna sit here. Oh, now I want to say something and like just chill.
Yeah, that's great. I was thinking about that, like, as a photographer. Like, we recently got our engagement photos taken. I was like, this is fucking weird. I'm never in front of the camera. I hate being like, what's my angle? Like, do I look okay?
There's a lot of trust as the one in front, right?
Absolutely. I'd much rather be behind the camera.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah.
I could definitely see how, especially if you've been behind and then you're all of a sudden in front.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as...
Yeah, you're put in a different role.
Yeah. A more difficult role, really.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's hard to know your angles.
It's all about capturing that light, too. You gotta, like... You really gotta... It takes a mindset. You think you're just standing there, but, like, honestly, you're kind of not. I mean, if you're doing it well, you're not really just standing there. But then, you know, when you're behind the camera, you also understand from, like, a different perspective, like, I really wish this person would just, like, turn their head just a little bit just so I could okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Wouldn't you just be like, just turn your head?
well, then some people are just like,
They turn it way too hard. Yeah.
Interesting.
The ins and outs of being a model.
Arts that I'm not that great at. Either one, front of, behind the camera, and both of them, not my thing. Which is not so great when you're supposed to take pictures of tattoos. I'm terrible at that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything that I do take a picture of, I have to send to her. I'm like, hey, fix this. Make this look not terrible.
yeah,
So,
because I handle all the editing and
again,
that stuff too.
You're very lucky.
I know. She's the foundation that I build my toothpicks on.
Toothpicks.
Yeah, they crash a lot. It's fine. I just pick them back up. It's fine. Solid foundations are way more important anyway. But
I do have to pee. Should we take a break, or is it cool if I just leave? Or?
yeah. Go ahead.
Cool.
There's
That means we're gonna have to talk to each other.
yeah, it's fine.
God forbid.
Yeah, right.
I think I saw where it was.
Yeah. I think it's going. I think this is going good. I like you at production.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's different back here, and I'm like trying to take notes, and there's definitely, I mean, we were talking about how being behind the camera and stuff like that, I definitely have a different eye than Felix, and I'm like, I already know how I kind of want to switch up these angles a little bit, and for the camera slightly and whatnot, but it's fun. I feel like I have a little bit of control back here, which, you know, I thrive on control slightly. So
I mean, you literally have all the control right there.
yeah. So I definitely like it better back here. I like this better than being in front of the camera. I like this better than not being involved at all. Like, this is perfect. And I think it just brings everything back home. And you and I make a really great team when we're on the same page, and I think this is a good place to be. Don't make that face.
Yeah, we do got to be on the same page.
But when we are, though, we make a really great, like, we're pretty good at being like, yeah, we should do this and then that, and some good things.
Good bounce boards. We got good ideas. Sometimes they don't always work out, but
no, because there's just, I mean, but really it's because there are other elements. Because the one thing I do like about the both of us is we're constantly on. We're like, all right, so when is this going to happen? How can this happen right now? Like, how do we make this happen? But sometimes outside elements get involved, and then it gets a little tricky, because then we're not just depending on each other. We're depending on the weather. We're depending on other people. We're depending on other things. Like, it's just,
yeah.
Yeah.
That does make it more difficult, but I don't know. There's a lot we can't control. There's a lot we do control.
Yeah.
I think we're all right.
Yeah.
And this seems to be going well.
Yeah.
The show we did with Levels was really good. I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, it was fun.
Every single one of the members of that band is so cool. Such good dudes. I really like those dudes a lot. And yeah.
They're very nice, and they're very just like, you know, you're gonna get like a good, but like not crazy time, but like that's fine. It's like gonna be a good time where things are still like controlled, because sometimes on the show things get a little wacky and a little like out there, and those are fun too. But it's nice when somebody is just like fun, but it's not like crazy where we're just like, how do we rein this back in? Like, we even went over time on their show. Like, it was just fun and good.
Yeah. They didn't try to attack you, did they?
No, they didn't.
Sweet.
I had my my friend here the other day, and the one with the Bootios, the show that we lost, that I was telling you about. But
tell me about the Bootios.
Yeah, it makes such a great prop now. That's one of the things I need to get a shelf for, so I can put the Bootios on the shelf.
Perfect addition to the studio.
Right. He brought his kids, and they were, of course, hanging out playing video games. And, of course, as soon as they walk in, my dogs just attacked them, like they do. And I told them they jumped up in the bar stools, and they were like, shying away, which is, I get it. And so I told him, I was like, this is your island. Watch out. They're little sharks. If you get in the water, they're going to eat you.
I bet they love that.
Yeah. They were, they thought it was funny. One of them did. One of them was kind of a little bit older. I think he just gets tired of my shit all the time. Really, anything I say, he's just unimpressed with. So
Randy is like really good with like small kids, like the ones that are like, "What? You like took that away? Well, now I'm really mad about it." Like the kids that just like have no control over their emotions yet. He's really good with them.
I'm really good at just pissing kids off.
But as soon as they become more emotionally complex,
then they're like, "I'm over your shit, dude." Like.
Yeah.
Why are you baby talking me? This is not an island. Those are not sharks.
Exactly.
What is this?
Exactly. You're ridiculous. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
I never know how to talk to children. Like, are you the age where I talk to you like a little baby? Or do I talk to you like an adult? Like,
as somebody who went to school to work with children, you should always talk to children like they're people, as opposed to like baby talk is like considered really, really just not actually the right thing to do, even though we're inclined to do it. You're not really supposed to do it.
So I can talk to my cat with baby talk, but maybe talk to a small person as a human.
Yeah, because it actually helps develop their language and
totally
like
makes sense.
Yeah.
See, I'm not on board. Not on board.
So you want to say "go go gaga" to a child for no reason?
Yeah, and like.
Well,
and
some fart noises sprinkled in are probably good, but
yeah.
I don't know. I'm just not. Yeah, children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're tough, right?
They are.
It's
not the battle I want to take on.
I like fucking with kids and I like pissing them off because that's really fun for me. And then I like just walking away.
Because you can.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Bye.
I'm not your daddy. Bye.
No, I'm gonna go spend my money on myself now. See you later.
Not on your college education.
No.
Or whatever.
That's not important to me, kid. Yeah, that's what I like about kids. Other than that, no.
Yeah. So you can hang out with them and then walk away. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, it'd be hard to be able to do what I want to do and keep up the lifestyle I want with children.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You see any in your future?
Not really.
Not at all?
I don't know. I'm 90% against it.
Yeah. I'm with you. I am 99% though.
Yeah, I was about to say, it better not be 90. It's completely 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No way, Jose.
Yeah, it's a
Dogs
lot.
are enough for me.
I'm like really into. I like having pets. I'm into having pets. Dogs and cats. Totally about it.
What do you have now?
We have a cat.
Yeah.
Her name is Scout.
Scout?
Yeah.
You got pictures?
Yes.
Is that what you're digging out?
Yes.
What kind of cat?
She is a medium hair tabby, and actually, as soon as I got over here, Tyler, my fiance, sent me this picture.
Wow.
We have a little ledge set up for her.
That is fantastic.
She's basking in the sunlight.
That is fantastic.
But she's got some floofy hair. She's really great. We like her a lot.
I like that she doesn't mind a dangle.
No.
Fuck the legs, she says.
She does not care.
That's pretty great. Mm-hmm. How long have y'all had her?
It's about 6 months.
Okay.
Something like that. And she's little. She's not even a year old yet.
Little.
Mm-hmm. She's little. Yeah, so you can talk like that to a little baby cat, but
yeah,
maybe not to a baby human.
Yeah. Fuck them.
Stocks and bonds, baby human. Stocks and bonds. I'm talking to you about adult stuff.
Save your money. Watch your finances.
Don't go to college until you're 25, at least.
Ooh, that's smart advice, I feel like.
I have a college degree, and I'm like, it's in art history. I'm just like, man, totally would redo that if I could. Or if, I don't know. It's bullshit that you have to have it figured out at 18 to be like, okay, I'm going to spend thousands of dollars to figure out what and to get this degree, and I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah.
I have always been an artist, and so I was like, oh, I'll get some kind of art degree. But was too lazy to get a studio degree because you had to do like 60 plus hours of studio work. I was like, I don't want to do that much. That sucks.
Sure.
And I didn't want to teach. So art history, cool. I wrote some papers and did some research and got my degree. And I mean, it's helpful to have a degree, I guess. But like,
has it helped you?
I mean, I'm on the fence about it. I mean, I don't think it's hurt, but I don't necessarily know that the 5 years that I spent in undergrad was like, you know, the best way I could have spent my time.
Yeah.
And my fiance is actually in the boat where he's like 34 and has a like high school diploma and is like, wonder if I should go to school. Wonder if I should like get an associate's or go to college. I'm just like, I don't know. I like, even as someone with a college degree, I'm like, I don't know if it's worth it.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much money. And it's a lot of responsibility to know what you want to do and commit. I mean, things are just so uncertain right now. I feel like if I could go back, I'd probably get like a science degree or something. Not that I'm good at math or anything, but
yeah,
art history, sure. Like, I don't know. I don't know what I was really thinking, but it was just a degree to try to get through it. So
yeah, I don't have much figured out, but I definitely figured out at 18 that I didn't have it figured out and that I did not need to spend money, and I had fucked off my entire high school career, so could not get any help. And my parents were just high enough money making that I got no support.
Right.
But they weren't high enough that they could help support. So I was like, yeah, I'll just figure it out. I'll just work. And luckily, it's worked out.
Yeah, and you've done it.
I'm doing it.
Doing it. I mean, it's a work in progress.
Always.
But you have a home. It's pretty good.
I do have a home, which is great. I have a home. I have food. It's good.
Yes, you have some great dogs and a beautiful girlfriend. So
hobbies. I'm doing okay.
Yeah, you're doing all right.
I'm doing all right.
Yeah,
I'm getting things figured out.
Yeah.
Without a college degree, which I feel
it's absolutely possible.
Which I feel like had I gone to college, none of this would have been possible, or very few. It would have been on a very much more limited scale. So, there's different routes for different ways.
I don't know. I feel like I definitely did it because both my parents, had higher education. They were teachers and lawyers, so it was just kind of expected in my family. But looking back, it's like I took 1 year off between high school and college, and I wish I'd taken like way more than that.
Yeah. To be fair, I mean, had I gone directly into it, I definitely would have just been still fucking off and ruined it. But after I did not go directly into it, there was never a chance that I would have gone into it after that. So
that's true. The longer you wait, the harder it gets to go back.
It is, man. It is. So there's also all that. I think that's where a lot of the pressure comes from, to just go ahead and do it, because you'll never get a better chance to get your foot in.
Right. Yeah. Tyler, my fiance, is like, I'm 34. I'm too old. I'm just like, you can't go into stuff being like, I'm too old. You gotta just do it if you want to do it. But it's definitely hard.
I think dead would be too old.
That's when it's definitely too late, at least.
Yeah. Other than that, I think he's okay.
I know. I think so.
Right. Now he probably has a better idea of the direction he should take.
At least you're not going to waste your money at this point. I mean,
yeah.
I paid for school and then still skip classes. So like, what's the point in that? So at least at 35, hopefully you're like, that where you're spending your money, it's for a reason.
Yeah. There's definitely a better idea of what's going on. Those guys are going bananas.
Okay,
like, who's out there? What's going on?
Or
where's that coming?
Is this a weird noise in my ear?
Nobody that's listening can hear him, but we can definitely hear him. He's going bananas for sure.
Is that Randy Travis or is that Buster?
That's Buster.
No, that's definitely Buster.
That's Buster for sure. Yeah, Randy Travis is much deeper. He's
not much deeper. He's not.
He's deeper than that.
Red is probably much deeper.
Red is very much deeper. He's beefy.
He's got that Barry White going on.
Yeah. He's got that wide chest, so he's...
You have a whole range of guard dogs for your guard dog choir.
They're terrible guard dogs.
The literal word.
The worst guard dogs.
There was one day, actually, our house cleaners, we had these people coming in and clean the house for a moment, and they literally just walked. I was doing my makeup and had music on and, like in my zone, and they just walked into the house. There was no barking, And I only knew because all of a sudden this lady comes up behind me with this broom, and I'm like, what is happening? And they were just like, oh, we just let these people in. They were really nice. So I was like, what is, you guys should bark. Like,
all of a sudden an assassin with a broom comes in.
I was just really terrified. I was like, I could be murdered right now, but, you know, at least I'm not in the woods, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, you are in the burbs. Yeah, your chances of murder, I feel like, are way slimmer than...
I don't know.
You don't think so?
I don't know.
We live in a nice Caucasian area. If somebody wanted, these people chop people up and put them in their fridge and eat them for a couple days.
Absolutely.
I've listened, true crime podcasts.
Right.
Like, this is where it's going to happen. Our next door neighbor with all those recycling cars. Yeah.
When you really think about it, I mean, like, I get scared about, like, what could happen in the woods. But you're much more likely to be killed in the city than you are out in the woods.
Yeah, because people are unpredictable.
I think that's the people, because there's just more people.
Exactly.
So you have more contact with people, so your chances are higher.
Right.
I think that's the case anywhere.
That's true.
Anywhere there's more people. That's why Chicago has such a high crime rate. There's just so many people in such a small, compact area. So percentage-wise, it's bananas. But if you were to spread the numbers out, I think it's more balanced than what you would think.
You could just be living next to Jeffrey Dahmer type person. You never know.
I mean, that's true, I guess, right? You could. You wouldn't know until you knew.
Mm-mm.
But there's a lot of shit like that you may never know. I mean, I'm surely at some point in all of our lives, we have been shoulder to shoulder with a murderer.
Probably, or something.
I think statistically, look and see how many people, what's the percentage of murderers in the U.S.? Well, look at the number.
I'm just
what
like,
do you want
what
me
is
to
this
Google?
search history right now?
Look at the murders in the U.S. compared to the population in the U.S. and we'll compare those two. It's just two different things. It's fine.
And then we'll do some math.
Well, yeah, it's fine.
Math podcast.
Yeah, I know numbers. I went to high school. Murders versus population. I feel like you're...
Oh, murder rates. Here we go.
Okay, maybe this is...
Are you going to give me some stats?
National
Oh, wow.
rate.
Murder rate has gone down significantly since,
1970.
Makes sense. I feel like most of the serial killers you hear about, it's like mostly in the 70s, I feel like.
I think now... I don't know if this is true. I may be making this up. But I feel like... most people wouldn't commit a murder because it's just so much easier to get caught.
Absolutely. I mean, I like true crime, so I listen and watch and read a lot of stuff. And also, my dad was a criminal defense attorney till he retired, and dealt with like capital murder cases and stuff. And so it's always been something I've like heard about and been interested in. But I feel like I watch true crime documentaries or whatever, and I'm like, oh, you're so stupid. Why didn't you think about you can't get away with that, or why didn't you think about your alibi, or
yeah.
And yeah, with all the technology, I mean, with your cell phone literally tells people exactly where you are at every single moment. I mean, there's no way you can get away with anything, and with your DNA and your fingerprints on everything, I mean, you'd have to be pretty damn cunning to be able to get away with a murder and not be caught.
Yeah, and if you step on a wood floor, they can track your shoe.
Right.
So wear a very common shoe or you're fucked. Or
I mean, if you knew your murder victim at all, like they work backwards from there. Like, well, who did the murder victim know? Like, who had beef with them? I mean,
yeah. And the further we go, the better we get at finding them. I feel like. Mm-hmm. I guess there are still people that do get away with it, but I just feel like it's so less common, especially than it would be in like the 70s.
definitely.
Which there's also a lot less hitchhikers, I feel like. I feel like
true.
you probably run into the only ones that are still out there.
I think so. I mean, I was kind of blown away last night by running into those people being like, do you guys know where you are? I mean, you're so lucky that you ran into us, two young women who are like, very certainly are not going to kill you. But,
yeah.
I mean...
But could. Did you tell them that? Did you flex your heart and be like, but could?
When they first came over to us, and they were like, hey, we talked for a little bit, and they were like, well, do you mind if, like, would you be open to giving us a ride? And I was like, well, are you guys murderers? And only if you're not murderers, was their response. Like, I guess we're both not murderers, but...
That's fair. I feel like that's a fair response.
Right? I mean, like...
Yeah, I won't murder you if you don't murder me.
Exactly. So I think we came to an understanding pretty quickly.
Okay.
But, yeah, I think that, yeah, hitchhiking, you're just, like, setting yourself up to get murdered.
Yeah. Because the only people that are gonna stop are either people that are way too kind or fucking murderers.
Right. They're just looking for that person on the side of the road. They're like, cool, my next victim. All right.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So mostly the kind of numbers I got where the murderer rate is close to 2.6 per 100,000. But I think an interesting fact is 40% of the time people get away with their crime.
That's terrifying.
40%?
Yeah. That's
Where did
what
you
it
find
says.
that?
That's. I mean, I'm only looking at things that are just popping up all over here. But yeah,
Where
it's just like this says here how common are
Where's
serial
that from?
killers.
On Vox.
But then it also says it here, and then
TheAtlantic.com,
like
Fox.
Like it's just.
I don't know any of these websites.
There's
I
a
can't
40%
tell.
chance you'll get away with murder on Vox, is what that says.
Yeah.
Vox is fairly reputable.
Yeah.
Is it?
But then, like I said, it's also repeated on the Atlantic.com. So it's not just one
Wow.
person, one thing saying it. But yeah, which makes sense because, I mean, and you listen to True Crime podcasts, how many times have they said, yeah, they murdered that guy, but then they somehow got away, or the police brought them in and then somehow was like, well, there's not enough evidence, so we can't take them in. So,
Well, that doesn't mean that they did it. If there's evidence that shows that they did,
well, they
but
admit
it's
to
not...
doing it later most of the time. So, like, they'll usually, especially if it's a serial killer, they kind of, like, love that they killed people. So they're like, yeah, there's actually, like, 36 people that I killed. And then they'll be able to link them back to those kills that they were like, oh, we didn't actually have enough evidence to take you in at that point. That sucks.
But at that point, but really,
I said that so casually, sorry.
at that point, that could still be bullshit, too, because they could just be trying to rack up their count there.
It could be, but also...
Because if your ship's going down, like, fuck, take as many ships with you.
If you're just mentally ill, there's a really interesting documentary on Netflix right now, The Confession Killer, and it's about Henry Lee Lucas. And he is, like, known for... He confessed to, like, 600 murders. He probably only murdered, like, 5, maybe 10 people. Still murdered some people. But his whole thing was, like, he was a drifter, and he'd, like, drive around. This was in, the 60s, 70s, 80s. But he would just, like, drive from state to state and go across state lines and just kill random people, hitchhikers, random women he'd picked up in bars. But it got to the point where, like, people, like, cops were just coming to him and being like, what about this murder? What about this murder? And he was getting a lot of attention, and he loved it. And so he was just confessing to stuff.
Yeah.
Because they'd give him cartons of cigarettes and, like, coffee and strawberry milkshakes. And he just was getting great treatment and was getting to hang out in this cool little police station instead of the jail. But, like... relations of these victims were coming forward finally and saying, like, his confessions don't make any sense. Like, we want to know who really murdered our loved one because they're still out there. So that was kind of crazy watching that and being like, wow, you know, these Texas Rangers or whatever. It was kind of about how the Texas Rangers were really wanting to just clear all these cases because Henry Lee Lucas had just confessed to them. They were like, cool, you know, open and shut, we're done.
Yeah, and that's another thing, too, that I think is a pretty big problem in law enforcement is, I mean, you want that confession so bad just to end it. So it sometimes it doesn't even matter who it comes from.
Right.
And
it doesn't matter if it doesn't make any sense or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you said you did it? Okay, cool.
yeah, and a lot of times that leads to put pressure on, you know, what's the fucking word for a goddamn person that...
A victim?
No, the victim's the person that's murdered.
On the criminal,
the
on
criminal.
the accused.
The accused, that's it. That's it. The accused.
It does. Another thing I thought, I just am so into the true crime stuff. I have so many examples.
Same.
I've been listening to Last Podcast on the Left is one of my favorites. But their recent special about Bob Berdella, who's like a little known serial killer. And kind of similar to Jeffrey Dahmer in that he was like a gay guy or he liked to kill men and like inflicted sexual torture upon them. And like cops interviewed him several times and like came into his apartment before they actually arrested him, but they were just like, ew, icky. It's like, he's like a homosexual, and it's like weird homosexual shit in here. Gross. And so in the 70s, they were just like, we just don't want to deal with it. And like Jeffrey Dahmer had a victim literally return to him because like the victim was like naked and came out of his apartment and was like all fucked up, and the cops came, but they were just like, Jeffrey Dahmer came and said like, oh, this is my boyfriend and this is all consensual, and like he's just too drunk, let me take him back to my apartment. And the cops are like, ew, gross. Okay. So it's like during the 70s and 80s there was so much homophobia in the, you know, in cop culture that they were just like, ew, gross, like we just don't even want to investigate, just go.
Yeah.
And so like these dudes just got to keep murdering dudes and sodomizing them with carrots and stuff. So
Jesus.
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
It's pretty bad. At least it's gotten better since then, hopefully. But maybe, I don't know, but it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it still gets pretty fucked up, but that's a murky situation. Like man, that's a rough job too. That's teachers, fucking cops, fucking investigators.
I definitely don't want to be a cop that's called to Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment that gets to open the fridge and see the severed heads. Like,
no,
can't imagine that. I don't want that on me.
No. No.
So I feel for them, but
no. Or the cop that walks up and somebody points a fake gun at him.
Yeah, and they have to make that split second decision about whether or not to shoot them, I guess. I don't know.
It's intense, man. What do you do
fuck that.
if you think someone's gonna shoot you? Do you shoot them?
I don't know. Even if you shoot them, you don't shoot to kill, man. You like shoot their foot or something, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know all the details of like what happened, but the dude got killed. So I mean, they shot him in the head or they shot him in the heart or something. I mean,
you can die from any gunshot wound, essentially.
Just like bleed out.
Yeah, or vital organs, right? There's wounds that you can get that you can't fix. Also, where all your vital organs are is the biggest target on your body. That's what you aim for, the biggest target.
The trunk area.
Because that's more than likely, if you aim for an extremity, you're not gonna hit it.
Right.
So
makes sense.
You aim for the big target, and maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. But if they're gonna shoot you, do you shoot them? That's the question. How far do you go defending yourself?
I mean, that's the question that police officers have to answer, I guess, a lot.
That's what I'm saying. That's a tough job.
It's fucked up, for sure.
It's a tough gig.
Yeah, it definitely is. I don't know if you guys know about this. It was like a couple weeks ago around Christmas. A police officer in Fayetteville was killed, like, shot point blank by just some, like, random guy who was, like, mentally ill and didn't like police officers or whatever. But it was, like, a 23-year-old police officer. But it's just like, oh my god. I mean, like, fuck cops, but also, like, this guy was, like, super young and wasn't doing anything, but also, like, fuck cops. I don't know. It's hard. It sucks.
Tough, man.
It sucks. They have a super hard job. I don't envy it, and I would never want to do it. But the whole culture is super fucked up. I mean, we know that.
I've been in a situation where I've been like, there should be a cop here. I've also been in situations where I'm like, fuck these cops.
Yeah, get these cops out of here.
So it's tough, man.
Yeah.
That's a tough gig.
It is.
I don't want any part of that.
I know, same.
And I have a heart. That's another fence to straddle, right? Like, sometimes you don't want to support them because fuck them.
No.
And then there's other times you're like, man, I'm glad it's you and not me, and thank you for doing it. Cause
exactly.
Fuck.
I know.
It's
like
it's
you
tough.
hear Blue Lives Matter, and you're like, fuck you, man. Like,
right.
Fuck off. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, I don't want to be out there. I don't want to be in Ferguson being a police officer there or in Little Rock or wherever.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's rough. You would have to be a certain type of person to take on that job, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one of those things too where you want to say like, we don't fucking need them. We're grown-ups.
Right.
But we
absolutely need them.
There's times when we are certainly not grown-ups.
I mean, humans can't have nice things. We fuck everything up. If you leave something up to crowdsourcing, we're gonna fuck it up.
Everything.
What was it? There was some like English like researcher vessel, some boat like last year that was like there was like some new boat that researchers were gonna use, and they put it up to like an internet like a vote. They were like, you can vote for the best name for this boat, and we'll choose whatever the popular vote is to name this boat. And they wanted something regal, like, you know, like the SS Blankenship or whatever, but it ended up being Bodie McBoatface was the name of the boat that the popular vote on the internet came up with.
Yeah.
And I think people were upset about it.
Sure.
But they had to name the boat Bodie McBoatface. But there were jokes going around about, like, this is why we can't have nice things. When you leave it up to everybody else, like, you're not going to get what you want. You're going to get the popular vote, which is Bodie McBoatface.
Yeah. Which, look at our government. That's another, we can't have nice things.
It's fucked up.
We can't have nice things.
I know.
And that's why people try to secretly take it, and then it just makes it worse. So you can't win.
I know.
Every turn is a wrong turn.
And what are we supposed to do as just private citizens living our lives in fucking Arkansas?
Trying to put out the fire as much as we can, man.
I know. I guess.
And pissing on a fucking forest fire, that's all.
Get outside and try to enjoy the beauty that we have for what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
I guess.
That's it. Live our day to day.
Yep. Drink beers and make tattoos.
That's it. That's it. If you can do that, I feel like you've done something successful.
I think you're good after that.
Yeah. At least for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Try again tomorrow. So, back to your adventures.
Back to
we've strayed on our own adventure here on this political talk.
Mm-hmm.
And crime talk.
I know.
We've gotten very crimey.
Gotten really into true crime. Sorry about that.
Yeah. It's good. See, I told you, we drift. We drift.
I know, I'm into it.
That's kind of what we're about. There's a little bit of everything. We try to just hanging out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Just having a good time.
With beers, yeah.
And beers.
Out.
It's just enjoying it. But
do you guys ever get outside? Do you hikers at all? The face that Anjali's making.
What the heck is an outside?
Sometimes we walk our dogs.
Out here in the burbs.
Mm-hmm. There's a park, and it's a lake.
It's a quote unquote lake.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, when I first moved down here, I was on Tinder, and this guy was like, "Oh, you know what I do? I like to I like to climb things." And I was like, "Oh, okay." He was like, "Yeah, you should come meet me out tomorrow morning." I was like, "Okay, cool." Like, I didn't think anything of it. Like, I was like, "Oh, we're probably just gonna like walk on a trail. Like, this is Tinder. Can't imagine anything too intense." He was just like, and so I went out, and I own like no shoes, so like I wore these shoes that I got from Kmart like literally a decade ago, and I was like, "All right, let's go." My hair's up in a ponytail with a ribbon. Let's do this. And he was like, "All right." So we met at Pinnacle, and I was like, "Okay, cool. Here's like the path and everything." I was waiting to go on that, and he was like, "We're gonna go off the path."
No.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, "Okay, cool," because I didn't really know what to expect still, because I'm kind of naive about the fact that there's even bugs outside. So I was like, "Yeah, cool." And then at one point, he points, and he's like, "All right, so we're gonna climb this." And I look up, and I was like, "Climb what?" What? He was like, this mountain cliff thing. And I was like, "Yeah, okay."
Wow.
Yeah, well, I was like, okay, in cartoons do that weird thing where they like hook a thing in, and maybe he has one of those in his backpack. Like,
I didn't know where this is going.
I was like, let's do this.
One time, I tried to get her to help me pick up a TV above our heads, and
What happened?
she didn't do it.
No, I did this, and it was a lot of fun. Like, legitimately, I was very scared. He kept telling me, he was like, "Well, first off, don't look down. And then, second off, your body can do more than you think it can, especially when you're scared." I was like, "Okay, cool." And I climbed all the way up to the top, and there were people there, and they're like looking down, like, "Where'd you guys come from?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I just did this in my Kmart boots that have holes in them, but."
On a first date, on a Tinder first date. I had no idea.
With this white guy. So I was like, I could have died, and he could have ate me. I don't know.
Never go off trail on Pinnacle with a random white guy.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm skeptical. I've seen your upper body strength. I don't know.
I
that
used
I
these
this
pictures
story.
on Tinder. Actually, I used it, and you might have even swiped on me, and we matched after I switched my pictures. So eat that, Mr. Pisses off of a roof of a car, and I go, that seems like a winner.
Wow. Was that his Tinder picture, pissing off a roof of a car?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah. It's
it
a good
was.
picture.
It was.
I met my fiance on Tinder as well, so like no shame.
Nice.
And I actually swiped past him a couple times because his main picture was him smoking a cigarette outside of a bar, and I was like, been there, done that, and swiped past that several times. I was like, I don't know if that's what I'm looking for right now, but ended up being like, okay, he's cute, and then now we're engaged.
Look at you now.
Love you, Tyler. But he's always so ashamed, being like, we don't need to tell people we met on Tinder. I'm just like, lots of people meet on Tinder. It's like, no shame in our game, man.
Yeah, it's fine.
I think I used to have a weird thing about it, and then I just kind of, I was like, if there's any place for me to meet anybody, and then I was like, and then when they look at us, if there's any place for us to meet, it would be on Tinder. So at this point, it's almost charming. Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
How else would you guys have met otherwise?
The bar scene.
Oh yeah, well, but
The
I would have been
club.
really drunk, and there's no way I would have. I mean, I probably would have just said hey, and then
Moved on.
moved on to a stage somewhere because that's all I did.
We would have both been, at that time, I was very, like, actually, no. I had just started calming down then. Because I was just getting into tattooing. So that was my focus. But before that, it had been very much just going out and just getting shithoused because I had so much free time on my hands. And what else is there to do? You know?
Yeah.
I would sleep all day and then party all night.
Yeah,
Good life.
absolutely.
And that's how we, if it wasn't for that, that's how we would have ran into each other. But it would not have ended like this for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I'd have been like, this drunk ass bitch.
Cohabitating.
Yeah. I mean, I was poor and I was a cute girl, so going out was like the cheapest thing I could do, honestly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know you're going to get some drinks and have a good time.
And I could sleep
regardless.
somewhere whether I wanted to sleep or not. Yeah. So it was great. Yeah.
Yeah, it works out.
Yeah.
But you guys went on Tinder, so not in a club.
Yeah.
But the first place that we did meet was a bar.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that makes sense.
because I feel like that's. I feel
Everyone's
like
on even footing there. kind
yeah,
of.
yeah. It's too. If you're like, hey, why don't we go meet at the gym? And then it's
That's
not like a
weird.
gym person.
I
they're
wouldn't
like,
have-
this is trouble.
Yeah,
I would have been like,
you
no.
would have showed up.
But also, every single time I talked to him, I was high off my ass, and I was constantly talking about pizza. So he knew. He was like, this is the target audience for this.
I mean, I love food.
You knew what you were getting into.
Yeah.
Cheese.
Actually,
Constantly cheese.
I didn't.
Cheese.
That's not true because she's not. She tries very, very, very hard at cooking, and she's hit or miss.
I've cooked for you.
Wow, harsh.
She's
And
hit
I
or
feel
miss.
like I've been doing a good job. I cooked chicken yesterday.
She did.
Is
Last
that
night.
unusual?
I don't eat meat.
Oh,
so
wow.
I
Yeah.
Can you
cooked
cook chicken?
I cooked chicken
Ugh.
specifically for him. I cooked
Wow.
tofu for I cooked two separate.
She did.
That is
proteins.
a loving woman.
I know.
Oh my god, I don't like chicken, so I don't really cook it that much.
She's hit or miss, and last night was good.
Say it like you're surprised.
You know
I
what
can-
it is? He likes Southern food, and I like Asian food.
That's
So
not true.
there's just
I
different.
like all food.
Do you ever eat tofu, Randy?
Uh,
You like tofu at all?
rarely.
I like tofu.
Tofu's hit or miss. It's got to be like good and
It has,
crispy.
well, it has to be made the right way. You gotta squeeze it. You gotta marinate it. You gotta coat it in
There's
cornstarch. You gotta fry it.
Man,
There's
there's
all, you know.
so much that has to go into tofu.
I know it's a lot.
Like,
So good.
give me a good slab of meat. I can make that so much faster and so much
Chicken's
better.
so weird though. Ugh, chicken's weird.
Why?
I don't know. It's like I don't know. Texture is weird. I eat meat, but not a lot.
There's different ways you can do chicken. I mean, there's different ways you can do everything, but I grill a lot.
Grilling's good.
Big fan of grilling. And
Grilling in the winter, huh?
oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
I live in the burbs, man. My grill is two
And
steps.
it's 60 degrees outside.
It's 2 steps from my door. I run outside, I throw it on there, I run back inside. I run outside, I look at it, and I run back inside.
Ever grill any tofu?
No. Once. And I did not eat it. Because fuck that life.
Was it good? Do you remember?
I
On
don't
tour?
remember this. He does grill like meatless things for me. Like mushrooms are so good. They're always good. I do remember vaguely you grilling tofu, but I just don't remember anything about the taste.
You marinated it in something.
Because you do have to marinate it.
And
but
I was like, I don't know how long it's supposed to sit here. I don't know what it's supposed to look like when it's done. But my meat is done, so this is done too, I guess.
Must be done.
Yeah.
And I did not eat it.
You should try it sometime. Give it a try.
It's,
I think I have to actually cook it for you with the intention of knowing that you're going to cook it. And I'll cook it really well because crispy tofu is really good. I've also fried tofu before. I've baked tofu in like a hot wing kind of batter almost. And it's so good. But I have to know you're going to eat it because if I'm going to do it for myself really quick, then I'm just going to do it really quick and be like, that's fine.
Sometimes she buys this fake sausage that she eats.
Is it good?
Oh, I really like it. But
it's so fucking terrible.
I think the other thing is I haven't eaten actual meat in so long. So when I do, it's like weird. Like
you forget what actual meat is supposed to be like.
Yeah.
Ugh.
What brand is it?
Beyond Meat, which is like known for being a super good like meat substitute.
Their sausage is terrible.
The burgers are so freaking. That's what we should have for dinner tonight.
We're planning dinners tonight.
Yeah. I like food a lot.
I wasn't gonna cook, so
I have a grocery store date after this, so I'm like, I'm gonna make tonight.
Yeah. Because of the shows, our fridge is full of beer right now and other canned goods, so we're gonna have to go get some food as well. Actually, I have chicken wings. We could have chicken wings. Or
She ain't gonna have chicken wings.
I'm gonna have chicken wings. She can have whatever the fuck she wants. This is a fun game.
Do you guys ever eat the same thing?
Yes. And I do. I'll like
Sometimes.
dabble. I'll like eat something if I'm like craving it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I want a wing. I'm gonna eat 13 of them. It's cool. But like on a regular basis, I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very rarely. One time, I talked her into eating a steak, and she cooked it. Actually, hers ended up better than mine because I was teaching her how to cook it.
Because I am a freaking boss.
You want to tell your potato story?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I did not think so.
Potato story.
I did not.
Listen, I
think
grew
so.
up poor. We didn't eat potatoes.
Potatoes are the thing you eat when
Potatoes
you
are
are
cheap,
poor.
I thought.
No. Actually, you know what popped up in my Facebook memories? I was making a hot dog sandwich. My mom took a picture of it and was like, look at her making a hot dog sandwich.
Listen,
Aww.
I can't tell you how many times I've eaten hot dogs on white bread.
Absolutely.
That's a jam.
Hot dogs are the best.
That's
Coming from the non-meat eater, hot dogs are the best.
No,
Right.
seriously, that's the one meat. I will eat that every single
Really?
day. I will eat it every
the garbage
day.
meat.
Wow.
She does like the garbage meat.
Yeah. Hot dogs are the best.
Do
Like,
you like a hot dog?
If
Like a
they're
brat.
grilled. But she won't.
No, I will put them in a frying pan. I will
Put 'em in the microwave.
No, I won't do that. That is crossing the line. I will cook a lot in the microwave. That I will not cook in the
No.
microwave.
The hot dog.
When
Or
she moved
much.
in here, that's where she started, and I was like, oh no, this is bad. This is not good. I don't remember what even it was, but I was like, this can't happen. This is not what you use. This is not how you make real food. This is how you make food when you live alone. And
You'll put up with a lot when you live alone.
Yeah.
Nobody's there to see the creations that you make.
yeah,
The hot dog
yeah.
sandwich variations that you create.
Yeah. I get that, but not. Mm-mm.
There's some shame involved when you move in with your partner.
Exactly. Exactly. That's not that life.
There's nothing wrong with cooking food in the microwave. All right.
Absolutely not.
It can be a delicacy.
Really? Go ahead. Let's hear this. What you got?
Tell
Tell
if
us
you
about these delicacies.
take some
Those
bread,
are sparkling waters. Those orange ones. Those are, if you like sparkling water,
do.
those are the fucking best. They're like a tangerine, strawberry.
San Pellegrino.
They're so good, man. They're so good.
Right.
And any of this, help yourself, please.
Thank you.
Which, by the way, you were worried. You're like, 2 hours? That sounds like a long time. You hit it, so good job.
Oh my God.
You
I
really
told
did
you,
it.
dude.
You did a good job.
Wow.
I'm telling you.
We haven't even like gone to like a mukbang or like ASMR or anything yet.
Yeah.
I know.
No, I told you.
We do get off on those. There has been yeah.
Yeah.
These mics are so good.
They're
to
really
do
nice.
ASMR on.
Do you guys ever, I mean, are you in the ASMR world at all?
I'm not.
I've been told I should do it, like, with, like, scratching and stuff. People would really like that.
I think your voice would really work. Like, there's something about, like, there's something in your voice that I think,
Thank you.
like, mouth sounds. If that doesn't sound really weird and gross,
Mouth sound,
I
yeah.
think ASMR people would really like. I'm an ASMR fan myself. I like soft-spoken ASMR videos.
It's funny because I'm actually deaf, so I'm like, what would even ASMR from the
What
deaf
is that?
person be? Like,
really loud.
that could be my tagline, ASMR, but I'm deaf. Like,
That actually could go viral really
yeah,
easily, I think.
yeah, deaf lady does ASMR. Handicap, they would be like, how do we make this sound politically correct? You can't say deaf lady.
They would skip over
Deaf
that story.
bitch does ASMR.
That's too much of a shark infested water right there. Skip it. Next story, please. Yeah, these are the best mics though. And when I was like, okay, let's put the studio together, I was
Right.
like, well,
We're doing
get
this
some
podcast.
good shit, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
that's very nice.
They're the best. She's got a YouTube she's been working on, and I've been trying to tell her to get a better mic. She's been using these, but she, for some reason, refuses to use these really nice video cameras.
It's because I like my camera because I actually know the technology and I know it and it's really good and other people use it and other people who are in my community use it. That's really what it comes down to, is the fact that I know it. I put a 50 millimeter lens on it and it works really, really well. And people have already complimented on the quality. It's great. I just have to get a different microphone and then it's fine. Like, that's
What
it.
kind of channel have you started? Like a makeup channel?
I hate talking about makeup.
Really?
I really do. I hate talking about makeup. I don't mind being like, I use this, but I literally.
Because your makeup's so fucking on point.
Thank you.
I just figured
I
like
just-
you'd be doing tutorials or something.
No, I would literally, I would hate my life, honestly. And because I don't do anything, honestly. Like, I do the same 3 looks, except different colors. Like, what would I have to say, you know? I like fashion, so I'm trying to talk about fashion, and then I'm trying to talk about myself, because I like myself. So, yeah.
Dope.
Yeah, so that's my channel. I don't think I need to use these mics in my videos because you have to use them in the frame, and that's not aesthetically pleasing for
Oh.
me.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying you have to use these mics. I'm just saying you should, if you're not going to use these mics, like these mics should be used, you should use a different mic.
Yeah, no, I agree. I told you. I know exactly what mic I want to get, but you're just so, like, adamant about not letting me just... I'm going to use your Amazon account, actually. Once we're done here, I'm just going to buy it anyway. And say it's Christmas gift part 2.
I see.
Love you,
Merry
babe.
Christmas.
That's how it goes.
I'll get your candles, too, because you said you wanted more candles. See, now it's a haul. There we go.
It's
I
a
did use
haul.
some candles.
Then just film your haul and put it on YouTube.
Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
And people love that stuff.
Dude, people love that. Or unboxing.
I did a bag video, and it's almost at 1,000 views.
Wow.
But that's because I like to... I'm really nosy. You know, what's in your bag
I
is,
love
like,
that
kind of
type stuff.
fun.
I know.
Yeah, you're like, what does she carry in
I
her
know.
bag? Like,
I
are there
felt-
bodies or what? Like,
I follow people on YouTube that I'm like, I have no interest in, like, for some reason I'm just like drawn to you. Like, there's like a sewing channel that I follow that I'm just like, I don't sew, not into sewing, but like something about this channel.
actually,
Love it.
you're talking about true crime, and there's this girl, Bailey Sarian. She does this series every Monday where she talks about true crime and she puts on makeup, but it's my favorite because she does not talk about her makeup. She's just putting it on.
Oh my
So it's like, I
love
don't have
that.
to listen to her talk about her makeup. All I have to do is just listen to the story and look at her face.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What a weird mashup concept,
Yeah.
but I love it.
And that's something I would do if I were going to do anything where I don't have to talk about makeup, but she's already doing it, so I'm not going to do it. But
You know what's funny? She's probably just doing that in the morning when she's getting ready anyway. She's like,
no,
I got
she's
this.
not. She's mentioned it before. She's like, I filmed this and I hated my look, so I decided to refilm it.
Oh.
Yeah. She's
that-
yeah. And she also talks about how it's like really late and she lives in an apartment, and how if she seems less enthused, it's because she doesn't want her neighbors upstairs to hear her talking about like decapitation and stuff. So, yeah.
She films it on purpose.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. I wonder how you come up with a concept like that.
You like something and then you just find, and that's the coolest thing. Like that's what I would like to do, is to talk about stuff, because I really love talking about like self bettering yourself, but I'm like, how do I make this interesting? And she has a good concept. I'm gonna put on makeup. I'm not gonna talk about my makeup. Like, if you want to know what's here, look down below, whatever. But she just talks about stuff she likes, and I'm like, how do I talk about stuff I like but make it look interesting? And that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, otherwise just have a podcast.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm telling you, I think you should have one, because like what you got going is pretty interesting, I feel like.
You think so?
I think so. Because here's the thing, not only can you talk about the places that you've gone, not only, or are going, or whatever the case may be, you can talk about the wildlife there, you can talk about the crazy adventures there, the crazy people there, you can talk about the photography part of it, your gear, you can talk about I mean, there's just, I'm telling you, the list goes on and on and on.
I like it.
Here's the thing, if you can make a blog out of it, you can make a podcast out of it. Because a blog is just a script to a podcast.
That's true. That's a good idea. I haven't really thought about diversifying my bonds into podcast world, but
yeah, man,
it's a great idea.
The history, there's all of that you can go into. All of it.
I do like history. Arkansas history nerd podcast might be fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, and that would be, I'm telling you, it's so easy. It's so easy.
So easy, even Randy Harlan can do it.
Easy. If I can do it, anybody can do it, without a doubt.
Absolutely.
And you wouldn't need near as the dumb setup that I have here.
The setup's pretty awesome.
It's a work in progress. There's still more to do. We got to get it. The next goal is to get it out of our house.
Oh, and have a legit studio.
Yeah.
Outside of the home.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the next goal.
What a goal.
Maybe one day.
It's exciting.
One day. Not today.
It's necessary.
But one day. Eventually. So we'll see how it plays out.
Cool.
But that is definitely something you should think about.
I'm gonna look into it.
Because I'm telling you.
I like it.
And I'm telling you, I can point you in the right direction.
Okay.
I can give you some good advice to get you started.
Cool. We'll talk after the show.
Yeah. So tell people how they can follow you, how they can find more about you,
Cool.
and more about that.
About my hiking and my photography and whatnot.
Yeah.
So follow me on Instagram. I'm Anna Beth Buckley. Buckley spelled Buckley. You can find me on Facebook with the Beth Buckley Photography, if you just Google that. Or there's also bethbuckley.com is my website, and that's where my blog is. So feel free to follow me and check out my photos and follow my adventures.
Yeah. Check out where she's going.
That's right.
All the cool places. Go check them out. Go see the wildlife or the waterfalls.
You might be surprised.
And yeah, some really cool pictures.
Thanks, Randy.
Very cool pictures. I follow your Instagram, and yeah, it's rad.
Thanks.
I'm like, I should go visit these places, and then I'm like, I've seen them.
It's outside, though.
Yeah, there's bugs. It's hot. I'd have to get out of my car. There's no building to run into.
And there's no garage. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. I'm vicariously looking through your lens. That's all.
That works.
Yeah. So yeah, go check it out. Check out some prints. Check out everything. Her social media. And, yeah. Hopefully, people get out and about.
I know, right?
And not get murdered.
And don't vandalize anything, y'all. Leave no trace. And don't get murdered.
Yeah, that's better. That's better advice. Don't get murdered, and don't leave your trash.
Yeah.
Fucking hillbillies.
You fuckers.
Yeah. And thanks for listening. See you guys next time.
Thanks, y'all.
Later.